Hey guys, this is Anime Ball Z here, and today we are going to be doing the opening part to what if Goku's KAIOKEN was permanent. Please like the video if you haven't already and subscribe. It's totally free and you can unsubscribe whenever you want. There's nothing much else I'd like to say in the intro, so without further ado, let's get into the video.
Slick talker since a jet. Winter time, all the time, ooh, yeah. Look at the way that I move, swag, disrespectful and I'm rude, okay. I had cocaine in the school.
To begin this what if, we must do so at the Saiyan saga. Now Goku here is training under King Kai and starts learning the idea of KAIOKEN and how to put it to use. Here he uses KAIOKEN for the first time. Let's assume his power level is at around 6,000 by this point, since it's before he completes his training. Anyway, he lets the power run through his body and he finds how much strain he puts on himself. After a few seconds it vanishes, but that feeling of power doesn't fade with it. The power boost is still there and his power level is now 12,000. He tries it again and finds that KAIOKEN just isn't as hard as he thought it would be. His power level rises yet again to 24,000. Now King Kai stops him here, stressing to him that this form cannot be used so wildly like that. The body can't take it very easily, especially when it's used for the first time. Goku struggles to understand what he's talking about because he's not getting any of it, but he made the form. Maybe there'll be some long-term effects of him trying to persist with its use. Anyway, his training continues and he is also given the Spirit Bomb. From using KAIOKEN and training, his power level has grown to 180,000 already. He doesn't know how strong he is, but everyone on Earth is about to see. Now his journey across Snake Way is way quicker. He can fly far more quickly and Whis is down Snake Way heading back to Earth. The Saiyans have arrived and Nappa has already killed Piccolo, who is there to block Gohan from being killed. That however takes his own life. In the very next moment, Goku lands in front of him and looks distraught at his death. Goku's introduction is like that in canon and he prepares to get in battle right away. He is currently suppressed a whole bunch, so the Saiyans aren't scared by his presence. However, once he starts to power up, Vegeta's scouter flares up. Vegeta watches the numbers with a straight face at first, but then his face turns to that of shock. Goku's power-up doesn't just lift rocks and make them float, a wild aura rushes around him and rocks are sent flying out in every direction. Massive gusts of wind blow out from his general location and he lets everything go. Vegeta is trembling as he looks forward. 180,000. From a low-class Saiyan, is he the legendary Super Saiyan? He can only achieve that power level from using his whole fake moon, and even then he wouldn't even be stronger than him but equal to him. What is this madness? Vegeta grabs his scouter and crushes it in his hand but doesn't stop there. He throws what is left of it and starts to stomp on it vehemently, grunting with each stomp. What's wrong? What was his power level? Nappa asks. Just fight him already. My scouter was malfunctioning, Vegeta fibs, pointing straight at it. Now Vegeta wants to see if that scouter reading was fake and is willing to risk Nappa's life to test that theory. Nappa nods, although hesitantly. He has no clue why Vegeta is withholding that information from him, and maybe it was for good reason. However, he looks back and can't even see Goku anymore. That's when he punches him in the face and knocks him clean out. His jaw snaps out of place and Goku then looks to Vegeta. Let's fight elsewhere, there's too many dangers around, Goku says, with his aura flaring around him. Vegeta nods before flying off with him. Now Goku isn't the one lagging behind here, but he is the one leading the way by a whole bunch. He's kind of just cruising along while Vegeta is trying his absolute best to keep up with him. Upon arrival, Vegeta has more intense breathing and Goku is just completely fine. Goku begins and speed blitzes Vegeta just with his flight. Kneeing him in the face, Vegeta ends up losing a tooth and flying across this gizzard wasteland. Landing on another tall rock, he spits out blood to find another tooth in his mouth has been chipped. Not only that, there's this fiery agony in his chin. He's never been hit with power of this caliber. Was that scouter true? No, that would be impossible. Just utterly impossible. It just makes no sense in his head whatsoever. Goku doesn't stop there though and punches him in the chest, which also can't be blocked by Vegeta. As Goku continues, the thought continues to linger in Vegeta's mind. What if this is real? What if that scouter was true? His power level really is 180,000. Goku just leaves Vegeta to recuperate for a few seconds because he hasn't even thrown a single hit back. He's intensely coughing, with some coughs releasing blood, and he looks weakened a great deal. Goku can sense ki as well and knows that the gap between them is quite high. He was looking to fight a strong foe and a good challenge, but it looks like he won't be getting that today. Just leave the planet, there's no point in you staying here, Goku says. Even if Vegeta's friend killed so many of his own friends, he doesn't want to see him dead. He is stronger than Vegeta, yes, but that doesn't mean that the Saiyan Prince isn't strong in his own right. He could grow stronger and easily be a good challenge to him in the future. Vegeta doesn't answer this advice and throws up his hand to launch a ki blast upwards. It grows wide and acts as the fake moon, releasing Blutz waves down toward him. This begins the transformation into Ozaru form for him. He roars wildly, using this intimidating physique of his to fuel fuel his confidence. Goku makes his stance and then flies up toward Vegeta. Pulling his legs up and into his torso, he shoots them out onto Vegeta's chest. It knocks him back for sure, but as he's retreating, he swings his hand into Goku. This launches him into a massive rock, shattering it in the process. The smaller pieces of rock and debris come flowing down onto him, but he powers up and uses his aura to send them all flying away. Goku and Vegeta are fighting pretty much as equals, where Goku can use his smaller frame and greater agility to gain a slight advantage. Besides that, nobody can get a clear win and start beating the other. Vegeta catches Goku as he tries his usual flying around tactic. Now, Goku thinks he can pull himself free of this, but Vegeta has a much bigger physique and strugglingly keeps him in place. That's when he decides to bring things up a notch. Erupting in a red aura, basic Kaioken gives him a power level of 360,000. Pushing out with all this new power, Vegeta's arms are shot away. In the very next moment, he flies ahead and headbutts Vegeta straight in his sternum. This breaks his arm and also sends him off his feet and hurtling back. Goku doesn't stop there though, using this Kaioken power to batter Vegeta. Landing 2 swinging punches to his face, Vegeta tries to retaliate with a mouth blast. However, Goku just kicks it upwards and into the sky before reacting with a ki blast of his own. Vegeta is forced to block it from how fast it's moving, and it scorches through his fur while also burning a lot of his flesh. He looks down at his arms and is shocked. Goku's Kaioken wears off, but his power doesn't. Now, with a power level of 360,000, he comes up with an idea. Goku's tail seemed to be the reason that he became an Ozaru. After losing his tail, he couldn't use the form. No matter how much he looked at the moon, it would have no effect on him. Whizzing around Vegeta, he launches a thin but sharp energy wave from his finger that he uses to sever the tail clean off. Vegeta's body starts to twitch slightly from this and he reverts back to his base form. This is a really bad situation Vegeta's gotten into now. Without his tail, he can't even use the fake moon in the sky, and Goku had already surpassed his Ozaru state. Even if he is arrogant, there is no denying that he'll be in for a beatdown here. He isn't stupid. Therefore, he flies off as fast as he can before Goku can chase after him. Leaving Nappa with the crew, he doesn't even think about killing him. Escape is all that he has on his mind. Vegeta will never think of others in these types of moments. He is soon off wild and Goku is left to think about what to do next with Krillin and Gohan. Krillin gives the idea of Namek, lacking cannon, and the trio prepare to head there. They manage to find the ship that Kami was in when he came from Namek, but Goku asks for something else. Instead of just using that ship, Goku wants something extra. Just like in canon, he gets Dr. Briefs to form the gravity chamber using the technology of the Namekian ship to allow for fast space flight. This gives them a far more futuristic earthly ship to work with, and Bulma finds it even easier to navigate. The ship can use between 1 to 100 times gravity, and even Gohan and Krillin can't wait to see how this works. They all head on their merry way to Namek, and Goku starts training in the ship as soon as he can. In here, he also starts training with his friends. They can't really use the same multiples of gravity that he can. He basically trains only in 100 times, but they can use lower multiples to help themselves grow. Upon arrival, Krillin's power level is now 25,000, Gohan's is 45,000, and Goku's is 800,000. The multiplier that Goku received from training here was monumental, and with them having each other to train with, it only helps them grow further. Upon arrival, they don't have as much fear, they just need to get the job done, and since they're already so strong, they think they can do it. Using their radar, they arrive at where Dodoria and Zarbon are. They're facing the Namekians, and Krillin isn't just watching with fear. No, he has the power he needs to step in, and so he does. Flying right down and into the pit with Gohan by his side, he grabs Dende and brings him to safety. In this same moment, Gohan goes straight for Dodoria and strikes him in the face. Dodoria not only stumbles back from this hit, but is lifted off his feet and sent flying into an adjacent building. He's too startled by this sudden attack to realize what is happening, but then he calms and is shocked. He was just hit that hard by what seems to be a young boy. Looking at the tail he has, his surprise only intensifies at the hands of a young Saiyan. Dodoria feels rage from the utter humiliation from this hit, but as he lifts up to try and go after Gohan, he just falls. The hit to his head was too hard and he's lost control of his legs. Goku lands just beside his friends and makes sure to ready himself for anything that could happen. Zarbon remains back for a time, just surprised by the fact that a Saiyan has knocked Dodoria down like this. Frieza though gets infuriated. Seeing this supposed cowardice makes his blood boil and he doesn't want to see any more of it. Go and chase after him already, Frieza demands, pointing ahead at the trio. Zarbon snaps back into reality and does just that. Charging forward, he aims right for Gohan first, but he takes on this challenge daringly. Zarbon swings forward a punch and then a kick, but all Gohan does is employ range to let the attacks flow straight past him. Promptly after this, he pounces himself and steps forward, punching him right in the face. Zarbon's head jerks back, causing blood to shoot out his nose from the harsh impact. The fact Zarbon was walking forward made Gohan's punch much more powerful. Promptly after this, he pounces himself and darts ahead, punching him right in the face. Zarbon's head jerks back, causing blood to shoot out his nose from the harsh impact. Zarbon falls to the floor, shaking his head from the disorientation. Before he can get back to his senses, Gohan kicks him in the stomach and makes him cough out blood, falling to his knees. Frieza just takes long looks upon these three fearless warriors. They all group together and then face him, with Goku at the center of the trio. Instead of staying and fighting them, he chooses to fly off. That isn't his job. Frieza's scouter and those of Zarbon and Dodoria were taken away by the Namekians, so he has no clue how strong they actually are. They are stronger than his two right-hand men, but of course he won't just assume that they're stronger than him. He can't think of a single person he's seen for ages that has surpassed him. He's just so much stronger than Zarbon and Dodoria, so that even if someone is stronger than them two, he shouldn't really assume that they're stronger than himself as well. Therefore, he chooses to wait for the Ginyu Force to take over with things. During this time, Vegeta has been looking at them from a distance in their flight, using his new ability to sense ki to discern their strength. Gohan and Krillin seem well within his scopes, but Goku, as much as he wants to have confidence in himself, that gap is still there. He doesn't let it get to him though. As he is flying, he still thinks about whether he wants to carry on forward to attack them or not, and before he can, Dodoria catches up to him. Now, after his fight with Goku, Vegeta's power level is at 25,000. What are you doing here, Vegeta? Move out the way so I can get them, Dodoria shouts. Get them? You won't stand a chance against any of them, Vegeta replies. Me? I'll stand a much better chance than you could, Dodoria barks back, infuriated by this remark. He is still a little defeated after that clear loss to that young Saiyan in front of Frieza, his superior. Therefore, this insult coming from Vegeta stings just that little bit more. Don't think I'm the same Saiyan that you fought previously, Vegeta claims. He's received a good Zenkai and he can sense Dodoria's power. It only reaffirms his conviction that he can win this fight with ease. Dodoria shouts and powers up, aiming to charge right at him, but before he can reach him, Vegeta uses a one-hand energy wave and blows him to pieces. Dodoria is killed. Vegeta looks at his falling remains with a maniacal cackle. It always feels great to come out on top. Turning, he can see that the Earthlings are now out of view. You won't be safe from me, Kakarot. None of you Earthlings will be safe from me, Vegeta claims. After this moment, he sees Nappa ahead of him. He left as soon as he could after the fight on Earth. Vegeta left him on Earth alone and didn't even give him a second look as he escaped. Nappa always believed himself to be much closer to Vegeta than he anticipated. For him to just look by Vegeta and let him die somewhere, he could never do that. He's been around ever since the boy was young. Ever since everyone around him would praise him as the next king, the Saiyan prodigy. All that time, how was he viewed by the young Vegeta? Was there no connection at all? It's weird even thinking of these feelings. Nappa just wants to let it go, but it's too surprising to do so. It just leaves him feeling defeated and disheartened to realise this. What do you want? Vegeta asks. Nappa looks flustered by this. It's like he doesn't even care at all. He doesn't even have the power to argue with him right now, so he folds under the pressure. What can he do? Nothing. I'm just here to say that I got here from Earth. How can I be of assistance? Nappa asks. Great, come with me, Vegeta says, before flying off out of nowhere. Nappa just shakes his head and follows right after him. He has no clue why he's flying away, but follows him anyway. What else would he do here anyway? He just shakes his head, annoyed with his very own weakness. Vegeta and Nappa head to a village, then destroy it together. Gohan, Krillin and Goku don't just sit by and let this happen though. Before they didn't want to upset Vegeta since he was just so strong on Earth. However, they don't just sit back and watch now. As soon as he can feel this loss of life, Goku walks ahead and out of Bulma's little portable dwelling. I need to go and sort that out. So many people are dying, Goku states. Stay here and protect Bulma. One of you can go to Guru with Dende if you want, but the other should stay here, Goku explains. Then he blasts off and in a flash he's totally over the horizon. In the very next moment he arrives in front of both Nappa and Vegeta. Nappa's hand is lifted to try and strike down a Namekian, but Goku grabs it while signalling for such Namekian to run as fast as they can. Vegeta then tries to rush past him, but Goku also stops him, reaching out his leg to stop him with a single foot. This angers the Saiyan Prince. The feeling of being stopped in this way agitates him and he tries to push past his leg only to see that he can't. It's like a metal rod that just doesn't bend or move no matter how hard he pushes. I can't believe you two have come to do this. Stop this madness now, Goku shouts, shoving Nappa back with what he feels is a light push. However, even though Goku thought that was a light push, Nappa is thrown straight to the ground and the hand that Goku grabbed is swung down from the shove. It slams onto the ground before Nappa's body does, so he grabs the wrist of such hand with pain and Vegeta is sent rolling and tumbling away from Goku's subsequent shove. Vegeta then lifts his hand, ready to resort to his fake moon, but then he realizes that he doesn't have his tail and can't use it anymore. His face of confidence washes away and is replaced by that of shock and fear. He can't even use his best transformation and is stuck in this state. If he can't use that form, he'll stand no chance. With every fibre of his being, he wants to fight back. He wants to get back at Goku for defeating him on Earth. He stood there, his mind battling his heart. He has incredibly tight fists and they vibrate wildly. Goku just watches him, waiting for him to make a first move. Luckily, Vegeta weighs up the pros and cons and realizes that it would be foolish to stay. There's nothing that he can do to hurt Goku anyway, and so he signals for Nappa to go with him. He hesitates for a second or so, even causing Vegeta to slow in his flight. "If you want to stay there and die, be my guest," Vegeta shouts down. Nappa just sighs with annoyance before flying after him as they head off into the distance. The other Namekians are still terrified about what's happened, but Goku tries to convince them that things will be okay. Vegeta and Nappa didn't manage to get the Dragon Ball, but Goku is gifted with theirs. They say the Dragon Balls will be in better hands with him than with them, which is pretty much true since he is so much stronger. Upon returning to the base, Gohan arrives at Guru's place. His power level is 45,000, but after the potential unlocking that Guru gives him, it reaches 150,000. Gohan feels exhilarated by this power he's been gifted and flies through the sky with insane speed to arrive back at the base. He arrives shortly after Goku does and shocks the other two with how strong he is now. Krillin gets ready to head over, hanging on to Goku to make things much faster. His power level rises to 80,000 and Goku's reaches all the way up to 2.5 million. The power he has gains the attention of many of the key sensing people on this planet, Namekians and especially Vegeta. As soon as he feels this, he heads over to Nappa and urges for him to blast straight through him. Nappa is shocked by this sudden order, but is kind of happy to take out the rage he has inside on him. He feels this way due to Vegeta after all. This isn't just something Vegeta chooses to do once, he abuses this power in this meantime. Goku has gained a Dragon Ball here and ends up gaining 3 with Frieza having the other 4. By this time the Ginyu Force arrive. They can sense the evil key of these 5 warriors, but then they feel someone else approaching them, a new and improved Vegeta. He lands in front of the crew with his new Saiyan God. After repeated strikes from Nappa, his power level has risen all the way up to 140,000. He didn't just abuse that power for a moment, but did so repeatedly to reach this point. "Hi there, Ginyu soldiers," Vegeta says with his arms crossed. Not only that, but Nappa bought into the hype. His power level is at 60,000 now. He did the exact same thing that Vegeta did, so when he blasted through Vegeta, he'd also attack himself. Or he'd make Vegeta attack him when he was healed and healthy. The Ginyu Force aren't scared of Vegeta or Nappa. They're aware of who these Saiyans are and know that they aren't big shots. No Saiyan has ever come close to their power. They'd have to use their Ozaru form to try and match them, and Vegeta doesn't even have a tail, so they're feeling quite safe against them. Jace and Goldo rush forward first, but this is a grave mistake. Vegeta rushes at Goldo before he can react and severs his head off, similar to how he did so in canon. Vegeta doesn't even look to Jace, who is by his side. He knows Nappa can take care of him. This is exactly what he does, and he grabs him by the neck. Jace can't even reach his body due to his gargantuan long arms, then Nappa just slams him down like he's some hammer. He continuously slams and slams until Jace no longer responds, leaving him there to face the other Ginyu fighters. Vegeta rushes forward, holding back his strength and fighting slower than normal against Berta. He does this purposefully to confirm Berta's rash claim that he is the fastest warrior in the universe. Berta then launches a counter assault, releasing a wave of punches, but each one is evaded by Vegeta with ease. He simply flows past each one, then lands a single tapping strike to his upper chest. The punch not only knocks the wind out of him, but leaves him shaking slightly. The power behind the strike was just too shocking. Before he can move again, Vegeta throws his fist straight through his chest and kills him this way. The final warrior is Recoome, and Nappa decides to take him up. The two brutes clash, but this isn't really a clash, it's just Nappa pushing him back. The fighters trade blows, but after each attack, Recoome sustains worse injuries, and by the end of the battle, he stumbles back with blood covering his whole body. Before he can gain a stable footing again, Nappa launches a full power mouth energy wave and engulfs him in the wave of energy. This takes him out, and with that, the Ginyu Force is gone. Captain Ginyu lands ahead of them shortly after, but with their new confidence and power, it isn't long before he is a victim of their power as well. Vegeta lands a single punch and knocks off his scouter with that. As for the following punches, he breaks his arm and finishes off with an uppercut to the stomach to make him cough out blood and spit. The captain falls to his knees, looking up with eyes of shock. He's fallen to these two Saiyans. How did he let this happen? It just doesn't make any sense to him. He is way stronger than any Saiyan that has ever lived. It must feel weird to be defeated by me, but let me tell you, us Saiyans never remain at the same point. Give us time and give us battles and we will surpass you. That is simply how it works, and there is nothing that you can do to stop that. We are the sole and ultimate warrior race, made for battle, Vegeta claims, looking down at him with a smirk. The boosting he gets to his ego is insane, and he then kicks Ginyu straight in the face. This breaks his skull and leaves him dead on the ground beside his fallen comrades. The two Saiyans, previously well under Frieza and his power, have risen up against every one of his soldiers and defeated them. He stand over them, figuratively but also literally. These warriors that they used to fear are now at their feet as bloodied corpses. Nappa is happy to finally have a chance of freedom to avenge the Saiyans. The superiority feels good as well, but it's the only source of Vegeta's pride and happiness. He's on top of the moon right now. Shortly after, they're met by Frieza himself, the strongest fighter that they could face here. Vegeta isn't scared like he normally would be. No. After defeating the Ginyu Force with ease, Frieza is just the next step in the equation. All they have to do is defeat him, take his Dragon Balls, and Vegeta's wish for immortality will be a reality. It's been a while, Frieza. You've been too busy hiding in your ship away from everything that has happened. You should have killed us while you had the chance, Vegeta shouts. Upon hearing this arrogant remark, Frieza can't help but chuckle. How naive and ambitious this young Saiyan is. Don't worry, that option isn't off the table for me just yet, he replies, before speed blitzing the two of them. Landing a single kick on Vegeta, he is sent sliding back and holds his gut in complete agony. That punch was way beyond anything he could throw himself. He's left on his knees, gasping for air as his head just falls down. He's gritting his teeth and struggling to handle this pain as his body has basically shut down. Do you want to end up like Vegeta over there? If you don't, it's best that you submit, Frieza says. Submit. Submit. Nappa could never do such a thing again. Now, Nappa is a brute and takes pride in the ideals of a warrior. A warrior can never surrender, never yield. You live by the sword and die by it. So instead of giving a reply, he shouts vehemently and releases every single bit of power that he has left stored up. He lets absolutely everything loose and stares down the warrior with a devilish smirk on his face. Charging at Frieza, he roars and lets out every pent-up emotion. His mind has gone through a tumultuous past few days and he just wants to let everything loose. If this is his last day, he might as well end it on a high note. Frieza lets him throw all these attacks, either blocking or evading them with light but effective movements. Nappa continues flooding his energy into this relentless attack, but it's simply getting nowhere. He can't even make Frieza budge, then he reacts in a rather brutal manner. Swiping his hand across Nappa's left shoulder, Nappa's arm comes clean off. Blood begins pouring and pouring from the wound and he bellows in pain, falling to his knees. He tries his best to hold the wound closed, but the blood continues to pass through the gaps in between his fingers. He certainly hasn't got much longer. I told you you'd stand no chance. I gave you the chance to submit, Frieza says, holding his hand to his face. Vegeta lifts his face to see this and can't even get up. He's never felt a need to save anyone, but now it feels like his body has moved on its own. Now that Nappa and Vegeta have had the same agenda for these past few days and defeated the Ginyu Force side by side, it feels weird to just let him die like this. He struggles up to his feet and still feels lightheaded. Everything around him continues to move around him, but in the next moment, Nappa receives a death beam straight through his chest. Frieza then kicks him back so he arrives by Vegeta's side. The Saiyan coughs out blood and he only has a few seconds left. Vegeta, please defeat Frieza for me, for the Saiyans, he weakly asks, before coughing out even more blood. His body is starting to lose sensation and the sky is getting darker and darker. The darkness looms in from his peripheral vision and soon starts to take over everything. Nappa's eyes were focused on Vegeta but then drift off into nothing as he sadly passes. All Vegeta could do was stand there to watch it happen. Looking up to Frieza, he can see this invisible aura of ki emanating from him. A dark ki that is not only evil but incredibly intense and powerful. Frieza then holds up his two fingers to Vegeta. Kill me if you want to, that won't solve anything. I'm not the Saiyan you should be fighting, Vegeta replies. Out of complete coincidence, Goku arrives in front of him in this moment and grabs Frieza's arm. He looks back to Nappa and feels great guilt upon seeing that he's been taken down as well. Stop this, Frieza, I won't let you continue, Goku states. The fight between Goku and Frieza then begins. He goes straight for Goku but soon finds that he is greatly outmatched. Even entering his second form, he is met by the same immense resistance. Goku's power is simply too great and Frieza sees it as useless to try and use his third form. If their gap is already this big, what's his third form gonna do? Therefore, he reveals his sleeker, far more powerful final form. Frieza's anger has only been getting worse after seeing Goku perform so well against him. A Saiyan in their base form should not be able to fight him like Goku has done. Even that, his second form should be enough to defeat all Saiyans, but Goku has just gone against that thought. Even so, there's no way he can beat his final form. The fight is over. Frieza shoots a death beam and to the spectators they can't even see it as it comes. It speeds past Goku's arm as he tries his best to evade and looks startled by how fast it was. Another few come his way and he ends up getting grazed on the arm by one. It's a hot burning sensation and he can feel his warm blood flowing down such arm. It's a shallow wound though, what's blood to someone like Goku? As Frieza rushes him, it's clear that the fight dynamics have changed. He receives a straight punch to his stomach, being thrown off balance and off his feet for that matter. Before he can fly off, Frieza grabs his arm to throw him overhead and downward. He He harshly slams him to the ground, but Frieza doesn't stop there and kicks him in the chin, sliding him across it. Finally, he hurls down a ki blast toward him, and it leaves a small crater around him, while only making the bleeding injury on his arm hurt even more. It's safe to say that he won't be winning like this. Therefore, he takes things up a notch and decides to use KAIOKEN times 10. Even if he hasn't been training with the form very often, it's surprising to feel that the strain isn't out of this world. His power level has risen to 25 million, and he rushes forward to continue the assault. Frieza is still suppressed, and so gets taken aback by his random assault. Getting hit straight in the face, he is sent flying away and into a nearby hill. Goku chases right after him, leaving the signature scarlet red trail of KAIOKEN behind him as he soars through the air. Arriving in front of Frieza, he lands a sequence of bone-breaking punches on him before he can move out the way. Each time he lands a hit, Frieza is thrown onto the rocks behind him that crush from the force. Goku lands a final whipping kick onto his chest with the last of his KAIOKEN, but his power level remains at this level. This is when Frieza loses control and releases 50% of his power. "I will show you the mistake that you have made fighting me, Saiyan," Frieza claims, before rushing right toward Goku. Punching him in the face, blood shoots out his mouth, then he kicks him right up into the sky. To follow, he darts up from the ground and literally cracks it from the force that he outputs. He gives Goku not even a break to breathe or think about attacking back. All he has to do is try to calculatedly deal with the assault, but he quickly finds that he cannot. That's when Goku has to up the gears and use KAIOKEN times 20. He roars at the top of his lungs and releases this hidden power. Even with this higher power level, his lack of experience with this state means that the strain is quite intense. This gives him a power level all the way up at 1.25 billion. With his power level now in the billions, it's over for Frieza and he doesn't even know. Just like how the tables turned in Frieza's favour, they turn back in Goku's in a flash. Goku throws a single punch, and not only does this break the bones in his ribcage, his fist flies straight through him. Goku rips out his fist and looks quite shocked at how he's managed to do that. He didn't want to and sees Frieza slowly descending to the ground from weakness. Frieza isn't going to die from this. We've seen Frieza go through so much more. However, it's safe to say that he won't be fighting for much longer, if at all. Goku's KAIOKEN fades, making his base power level reach this limit as well. Those watching on are stunned by the power he possesses now. They begin questioning what the limits of mortals in general are. How can Goku be this strong? When they say that Saiyans have limitless power, is this what they're talking about? It's not even like he's using Zenkais. One moment he's at a certain power level and then it just jumps up out of nowhere. It jumps up and then stabilizes at this higher state. Before, they started to question if he could still do the job against Frieza, but now they found that he can. He most certainly can. Frieza coughs out blood and just begins crying from the pain. Blood continues to pour out of him at an alarming rate and he's growing weaker and weaker. "Please spare me, Goku. I promise not to hurt us all again. Leave me here, I beg of you," Frieza pleads, before coughing out even more blood. Goku looks down on him and considers the possibilities. Before, he'd never think of killing such a strong person regardless of if they were evil or not. However, Frieza is so evil, so dangerous that he considers it. After a few moments of contemplation, he turns and leaves Frieza here. Frieza is far too weak to even look up and attack back, and Vegeta along with the Earthlings almost part to give him a gap to walk. It only feels natural. He's like a deity to them in terms of the power gap. The power he has almost emits a physical pressure. Leave him. He's made mistakes and he will learn from them. If he dies here, then he dies. He's let too much death and suffering occur here, Goku explains. With that, Frieza has been soundly defeated, and in a single day the Empire has gone from glory and crumbled to absolutely nothing at all at the hands of the Saiyans. What irony. With the threats on Namek all gone, the Dragon Balls are swiftly gathered and they wish for Kami to be revived. Along with that, they revive those that were defeated by Frieza's army, bringing back Nappa from the dead. Dende then heals the two Saiyans after Goku convinces him that it's okay to do so. He does so begrudgingly, and peace is brought not just to Namek but the whole galaxy. Nappa and Vegeta don't really know what to say. Vegeta is fine with not saying a thing at all, but Nappa knows that it's wrong. The reason they can go off and do their own thing is because of this Saiyan before them. Even if he is a low-class Saiyan warrior, even if they were supposed to defeat him, he is their savior. I must commend you, Saiyan. Regardless of our previous differences, you defeated someone that enslaved our people for countless years. We're free because of you, Nappa states. Thank you. It had to be done, Goku replies. After they part ways, then Nappa and Vegeta go off to do their own thing. They did help each other in the end, and Goku is the reason that Nappa's alive, but they definitely aren't friends. Maybe they'll head to Earth in the near future, but for now they're going rogue to embark on their own journey. As for the Earthlings, they didn't wait much longer before they try and head home. Their job is done. Finding the ship they use for the diversion, it ends up on Yardra, and they remain there for the standard year. Upon their return, Krillin, Gohan and Goku can all use instant transmission, and upon arriving they meet some surprising familiar faces. "I thought we'd be meeting you here, not the other way around," Nappa says with his arms crossed. Meeting them, I came here solely to slay Frieza, Vegeta barks back, which makes Nappa a little startled. Okay, Vegeta, Nappa says, in an attempt to placate the Saiyan. Even if they are friends, Vegeta is much stronger than Nappa, and so he doesn't want to get on his bad side. Hello, what's happening here? Goku asks, looking at what he presumes to be a Saiyan stood beside Nappa and Vegeta. However, as he thinks more deeply about it, it makes no sense. Saiyans don't have purple hair. He looks like your average human boy, but then he thinks, did they make another human a Z-Fighter? And even so, why would he be standing beside Nappa and Vegeta? This person turns out to be Future Trunks, and he hails from, well, the future. He's come here to warn them of the threat that is on its way. The androids will be created in 3 years by the vengeful Dr. Gero. Goku, though their strongest warrior by far, will die by the heart virus before he has the chance to protect anyone. This possibility is terrifying to the group. No wonder that future world ended up in shambles without him. Goku is their strongest link. He's pretty much the whole chain at this point. He has enough power in his base to destroy even final form Frieza and use his KAIOKEN form to multiply his power even further. However, as for the others, they have to make sure they're on their A game. Even if Goku survives, he isn't going to be a one-man army. One person can't protect so many, and people like Vegeta and Nappa would hate to have someone like Goku protect them. After training and being warriors their whole lives, this idea of being subordinate to Goku is just disgusting to them. Vegeta is still against staying here and ends up heading off world to do his own thing. Nappa follows him for now, leaving the Earthlings back on their own to start their own training. Goku trains with his son, Gohan, and then Krillin and Piccolo. After about a year, Vegeta returns permanently to Earth to continue his training, where Bulma gives Vegeta and Nappa both improved gravity chambers. With the numbers going up to 1,000 times, they can really put themselves under insane stress and grow from that. After 2 more years, the androids are going to be released and the Earthlings are all ready. Along with them are Vegeta and Nappa, who really have changed over this time. Vegeta has put on a significant amount of muscle mass, mainly from the gravity work he put himself through. Nappa has gotten even larger himself, but it's harder to tell since he was already massive beforehand. These androids will stand no chance against us, Nappa says, cracking his knuckles with excitement. You don't know that. I recommend playing things safe. Do not rush in blindly and be smart when you fight them. They might seem fightable, but they are very powerful, Trunks asserts. Alright then, Nappa replies dubiously, before diving right into the city of Sasebo beneath them. He rushes right into the city, and it isn't long before he arrives in front of Dr. Gero and 19. After training with Vegeta and using the gravity chamber, his power has climbed massively. It's above even canon Vegeta, and he then powers up into his Super Saiyan form. Nappa's muscles seem to get even larger, and he then unleashes all his newly gained strength. Punching 19 in the face, he leaves a dent in its headpiece and then crushes its chest with a knee. The attacks look quite slow, but with those sluggish strikes come monstrous power. 19 then tries to do something himself to fire back at Nappa for landing those attacks, but just receives a kick to his gut. This kick isn't any ordinary kick, it goes straight through 19's whole body. Finally, Nappa forms his hand into a knife and swipes it as hard and fast as he can through 19's neck. 19's body and head flop to the ground, and Dr. Gero takes this as a prompt to head away as fast as he can. He flies off in the air at full pelt, and Nappa along with these other Z-Fighters follow him closely after. Nappa is annoyed by this android's cowardice. The fight wasn't even over and he's already trying to run. Nappa can't endorse that. Arriving at the lab, Nappa is thirsty for more battle and blasts the opening to smithereens. What he sees inside though is a dead Dr. Gero with 17 and 18 stood ahead of him. Alright then, I'm guessing these are the androids that Future Guy was talking about, Nappa says, walking back to let them emerge. The others can then get a glimpse, and Future Trunks looks terrified upon seeing them. It's them, the androids that have been terrorizing his timeline. Nappa is eager to battle them and stands before them both. 18 is first to take on the fight, and Nappa makes sure to use his full power. Even after he won against 19, he isn't as arrogant and overconfident as Vegeta. He feels like this will be a good fight from all the horror stories that Future Trunks has told him though. Covered in a raging golden aura of ki, the battle is on. 18 begins and tries to use her nimbler, smaller frame to catch him off guard with a speedy combination of attacks. However, Nappa looks ready for this and just blocks each one as it comes. After training in the gravity chamber with Vegeta as a sparring partner for so long, it really helped him evolve and transform his game. Out of nowhere, he flusters 18 with his own assault. He matches her speed, but what is insane is the power that he has to back it. The attacks just keep coming and 18 gets smashed around by them. She struggles to keep her footing and stumbles from side to side as Nappa relentlessly throws his fists. Finally, he punches her in the gut and folds her over from the force behind the strike. She coughs out blood from the hit, then Nappa swings up an uppercut to launch her into the air. 18 is sent flipping and flailing around, and with the world spinning around her so fast she doesn't even know what's happening. Nappa takes takes advantage of this and steadies himself. There's no point rushing into battle when he can use this chance to calculate and effectively defeat her. Opening his mouth as wide as he can, he floods ki into that area and a ki blast grows just ahead of his face. It's a bright white golden colour, but before he can fire it off, he gets hit by a blast straight in his chest. Since it's so unexpected, he is thrown onto his bottom, then he looks around hastily to try and find the source. It's 17. Thank me later, 18, 17 says. 16 advises them to leave as their mission is to defeat Goku and not to fight Nappa and the others that are there. This will simply waste time and energy. 17 can buy into that, and so they head off into the distance, waiting patiently for Goku to show himself again. Nappa chuckles to himself as he sees their receding back. Today was a job well done. Now they head over to the Kame house with Goku to discuss further matters. Luckily, it doesn't seem like the androids are causing major havoc anywhere. During this time, Goku has the heart virus and is slowly but steadily progressing from it. It still left him in a very weakened state, so there's no way he'll be fighting for a while. Shortly after this point though, someone makes himself known, Imperfect Cell. Piccolo has been training with the group and ends up fusing with Kami upon seeing how far ahead the Saiyans are compared to him. Upon fusing with Kami, the nameless Namekian is born once again, and he is significantly stronger than the canon Piccolo that we know. Piccolo trained with much stronger Saiyans through people like Goku and Gohan. They gave him a serious run for his money in every training session and forced him to really break past his limits to even think of keeping up. The fight with him and Imperfect Cell is even more of a mismatch, and Cell is left to run with his tail in between his legs. Piccolo though has to search after him as he depletes towns of their energy by absorbing humans while searching for his most prized possessions, the androids. As for the others, they more relaxedly search for the androids, knowing that they are stronger. They can sense that they aren't causing much trouble, so it's not like they need to put their all into every second of their searches. As long as they don't know where Goku is, everything will be just fine. Even if they find Goku, the sick Goku could probably stand a good chance of protecting himself. Nappa and Vegeta fly together, surveying as large an area as they can, while Gohan and the human Z-Fighters go elsewhere to search for them. Upon searching, they find them. The first to find them is Piccolo, and he finds them on a small island. He takes on 17, but this time it isn't a rematch like it was before. The fight again is quite similar, but Piccolo has an even more devastating light grenade, and 17 fights on the back end for most of the fight. Piccolo has the advantage, even if it is slight, but this advantage shows after several minutes of battle. The android might not be fatigued, but he sustained quite a few injuries after such a prolonged attack. Soon after though, Imperfect Cell makes himself known and he's much stronger than before. Even if Piccolo is stronger in this timeline, he can't match Cell's might, and with that he defeats Piccolo. He then absorbs 17 and becomes semi-perfect Cell. The first fighter to arrive here to face him is Vegeta. Unlike before, the fighters weren't forced to try and enter the hyperbolic time chamber during this time. They were already stronger than the androids, there was simply no need to. Now though, they're facing a seriously powerful threat far beyond expectation. Vegeta though is unbothered and enters Super Saiyan before making his stance. Piccolo tries to tell Vegeta that it's useless and that he shouldn't fight him. Piccolo isn't far off Vegeta's strength as the Super Namekian. Vegeta charges forward and thrusts his fist into his gut, only to see the gargantuan Cell not move from it. He doesn't stop there, unwilling to accept his inferiority, and blows it off as just being unlucky. Continuing to throw every ounce of strength that he can at Cell, he finds that he can't even move him. He's like a brick wall that can take his attacks and just absorb the force with ease. Vegeta then thinks to himself a terrifying thought. If he's this durable, just how strong is he? Cell whips a backhand across his cheek and makes Vegeta cough out blood and a whole tooth. He's sent slanting across the grass and the world looks like it's swaying around him even while he's totally still. Cell then steps on him, placing his weight on the strike to break two of his ribs. Vegeta bellows in agony and can feel a rib puncturing his lung. Cell then grabs one of his arms to swing it and slam him through several trees beside them. Vegeta doesn't immediately emerge from the forestry, and as this fight has been happening, the others have flocked to this island. Vegeta returns to his base form and just coughs out blood in pain. The pain he feels all over his body is intense and he's losing consciousness fast. In a few seconds he's out cold, but Nappa lands beside him the very next second to save him. Before Cell can try to carry on and fight him, Goku lands before him. He's healed from his sickness and is livelier than ever before. Goku takes Cell by surprise with his almost sudden advance. His movement blasts out wind from behind him and he lands a clean punch onto his jaw. This sends Cell sliding to the edge of the island and he gives off a cheeky smile as he wipes the blood coming down his cheek. Goku then punches him into the water behind him, causing a massive amount of water to fly upwards from his strike. Now there doesn't seem to be much movement for a while and Goku just waits for him to show his face again. There isn't much that he can do since he breathes air. Rushing into the water would just put him at a disadvantage. As Cell bursts up from the water below, he doesn't look to Goku but then goes straight for the androids ahead. Goku is just so startled by Cell's choice and he doesn't initially move toward them. Why would he? He doesn't really have a clue as to why Cell would be wanting to do this anyway. However, he just carries on and flies off into the air, where he then attacks 18 and absorbs her. This is where he achieves his true perfect form. Goku can only watch from below, too blinded by the light from him to try and stop this. Cell laughs and turns back to Goku, who watches from slightly below him. He just starts checking out this new body of his without even paying attention to Goku. He still fires up though, punching Cell in the face as hard as he can, only to see that nothing happens at all. He continues with 2 more kicks, this time aimed at his torso, but they cause nothing as well. Cell, just like what he did to Krillin, doesn't pay him any mind and just flies past him to land on the ground. Okay, let's continue the battle now, Cell says, making his stance. I hope you can show me more than what you've just done. If that's the limit to your strength, then I'm sad to say that you stand absolutely no chance, Cell comments. Now, Goku really doesn't want to be hearing anything like this. He was hoping that he would swoop in and take down this threat, but it's his fault that he couldn't just get Cell before he ended up becoming stronger like this. Goku rushes into the battle without fear and is shot down just as expected. Cell can play around with him in the battle and still have the clear advantage. No matter how hard he tries, he just can't reclaim that edge. However, this isn't Goku's only option. Leaping back, he thinks back to KAIOKEN. Whenever he used it, he'd receive a massive boost to his power. Whenever he tries to telepathically communicate with King Kai, he always says that the technique doesn't have any permanent power boost. Any power boost that King Kai received from his own technique would always vanish after the minute was up, but things are different for Goku. He knows that for a fact. Whenever he uses KAIOKEN, it does make him permanently stronger. He doesn't know if he's as strong as when the KAIOKEN was truly activated, but he knows that he isn't far off. Without any more time left to waste, he decides to use the highest multiple of KAIOKEN that he has ever used. KAIOKEN times 40. The powerful multiplier places heavy strain on his body, but he carries on and doesn't even move. Cell can sense that he is weaker than he just was, and is confused as to why he's choosing to use this particular method of power. The form he was just using, Super Saiyan, seems to be far more efficient, but he isn't bothered. The way Cell sees it is that no matter what Goku tries to pull and use on him, he will win and beat him. He is the perfect warrior. He has every positive trait about Goku, every positive trait about the other strongest warriors on this planet, all put together to make the unstoppable force that is him. However, Goku's KAIOKEN fades and he feels immense strain on his body. It's unlike any sort of strain that he has felt using KAIOKEN before. Even with this burning pain, it almost fuels his anger and makes him want to fight even more. Powering up into Super Saiyan, his power level has now reached up to 250 billion. He speeds forward and releases a trail of scorched grass from his high speed and ki release and the golden trail of ki. To Goku, Cell is completely frozen and the only movement he sees from him is the slight twitch of his eyes. Goku throws an overhand right straight to his face, launching him into the sky. He follows right after and uses instant transmission to hit Cell right back down to the island. After these 2 attacks, Cell coughs out blood and grunts with pain. How have the tables turned so far in Goku's favour so quickly? Before he can fully get up, Goku unleashes a wave of explosive attacks that Cell can't even perceive, let alone block or evade. Each punch causes a mouthful of blood to shoot out Cell's mouth and leaves him with graver and graver injuries. Soon Cell is left on one knee with blood oozing out his mouth and several wounds on his body. Goku stands in front of him with his fists tightened and teeth gritted. His breathing has intensified, and Cell can barely even move around. With the weak cough like from a sick person, he regurgitates 18 and returns to his semi-perfect self. This only makes the injuries on his body feel worse and more painful, and Goku continues to stand in front of him. "Get Android 18 away from here," Goku shouts, getting Nappa to descend and grab her. Goku then lifts his hand and blasts Cell directly, being so powerful that even the nucleus in his head is destroyed. It wasn't like the self-destruction that Cell employed on himself in canon, but instead a ki blast from Goku, who is much stronger than him, so his body just couldn't take the damage. This means that there is no way for him to return and the threat has been removed. Here they manage to get Android 17 back using the Dragon Balls, and Bulma is used to work on their systems to remove the self-destruction bombs from inside them. During this time, Goku continues on his training, and the thing is, whenever he sporadically uses KAIOKEN, it just furthers the gap between him and his friends by a long shot. He can get 50 times stronger in an instant as the result of his unique ability. All of the Saiyans, Goku, Nappa and Vegeta, continue training and attain the higher levels of Super Saiyan, being Super Saiyan 2 and 3. Nappa ends up having a son with Launch and he calls him Korn. He resembles Tarbell, Vegeta's brother from that non-canon Dragon Ball movie. Korn used to being a hybrid Saiyan shows great potential just like his other friends being Goten and Trunks, but not only that, Nappa tried his best to install that mindset of working extremely hard and being a warrior in him. He glorifies this idea of being a fighter, and so he trains hard under the tutelage of his father to possibly gain the talent and power that he's got. The 7-year time skip passes and Goku is far above everybody else. In his base form he is well above Super Saiyan 3, Nappa and Vegeta together. Using KAIOKEN as part of his training regime only further accelerates his power growth. Only now that he's geared up his use of KAIOKEN slightly, he can already see that he's making leaps and bounds in progress. He makes sure not to overuse it because he feels like it's a cheat. It's clear that even King Kai didn't intend this to happen with the form, and he does feel strain on his body when he tries to overuse it. The strain that he feels from KAIOKEN is much worse than he expected. Even when he uses basic KAIOKEN more than thrice a day, he can feel heavy strain once the day is done. For this world tournament, the fathers get together to focus and watch what happens between their children. Now Korn is up against Goten and he is clearly the physical superior. He is not only more muscular but taller by many inches. Only at the age of 7 he's 5'8". Not only that, but he looks like one of those myostatin deficient kids. To be honest, all the kids in Dragon Ball do, but Korn is like that but taken to the extreme. Korn and Goten charge at each other, clashing their knees. Goten can't help but grimace at this slamming. He can feel that pain go straight through his knee and whole leg. Korn continues through like a bulldozer, just carrying on his forward assault and not giving Goten any breathing space. His hands are like dynamite and Goten can only use his nimbleness to keep away from his power. Goten slips right under a powerful hook, feeling a strong wind blast down onto his face. Shortly after that, Korn just kicks him in his lowered head before elbowing him in the jaw as hard as he can. These consecutive attacks lead him to the corner of the ring, where Korn uses his greater size and strength to just shove him back. This nearly makes Goten lose the whole match, but he uses all his strength to at least remain on his feet. The fight is good, and those watching respect Goten for giving it all that he has, but it's clear that he just can't really take the win here. Korn isn't really getting hurt by his hits, no matter how technical and precise they are. Goten, now panting and weakened, receives a final hit to his head that ends things. Stumbling out the ring, Korn takes the win, but not with ease. He praises Goten for putting so much work in and making the fight that much more exciting for both of them. What follows is the adult division, where Gohan here faces Kibito. After Goku being seen as the main saviour of the earth and the lead protector, it gave Gohan even less incentive to train. No matter what threat showed up, Goku would rise to the occasion and defeat them, and Gohan never received that vital time in the hyperbolic time chamber to help realise his potential. Instead, he only trained in the 3 years leading up to the android's emergence, leading to his power to be well below where it was in canon at this time. He strugglingly enters Super Saiyan, unlocking such in the few years that he spent lightly training after Cell's defeat. This Super Saiyan transformation is akin to the one in canon in the Resurrection F movie. He can attain the form, but it's clear his stamina just isn't there and it's already draining him in just the few seconds that he stood there facing Kibito. However, he has been spending some time as the Great Saiyan Man, so he hasn't gone totally unfit and can sustain it until Yamu and Spopovich assail him, stealing the rest of his energy. They fly off and the Saiyans chase after them to arrive at Babidi's spaceship. Here, Dabura takes the fighters by surprise and turns both Krillin and Piccolo to stone. This then motivates them to head into the ship to try and find a way to get Krillin and Piccolo back to normal. First off, Nappa is up against Pui Pui. The latter thinks that he has the advantage due to the 10 times gravity of his home planet, but Nappa swiftly ensures that this belief is false. Pui Pui prepares with a confident smile, only to see Nappa barely flinch from this gravity. Not only does he regularly train in gravity chambers that exceed even 1,000 times, but he was grown up on a planet with 10 times gravity like this place. Nappa takes him out with ease, and the following fight here is defeated by Vegeta. This leaves Goku to face Dabura head on. Gohan isn't given the chance to fight him this time. He is in no state to be fighting someone like the Demon King. Not only is his body weaker, but just Super Saiyan has drained a significant amount of his energy. This leaves Goku as the only person left. He stands ahead of Dabura with his arms crossed. The breeze makes his clothes billow, and Dabura is led to believe that he will be quite the threat. From the way the others he saw were talking about this person like he was some god. Dabura isn't going to buy it though, he's the Demon King anyway. Rushing upward at high speed, he flies straight through a tall rock pile to try and attack Goku, only to see him disappear at the very last second. He continues this game of cat and mouse where Goku just seems to disappear or dodge every attack he throws with relative ease. Just what is happening here? For what is about the 30th attack he throws, Goku switches things up and catches it. The force runs through his arm and causes him no true issue. This instead hurts Dabura quite badly. He hisses with pain, holding his now bleeding elbow before Goku then taps him in the neck. The power of this strike is so strong that it knocks him clean out, leading him to fall from the skies with defeat. Goku is not a killer, but his friends are currently stoned and he needs to free them. As a result, he launches an invisible eye beam to try and make the attack as quick and painless as possible. He doesn't want to leave Dabura a pile of messed up burnt flesh either. The blast hits the unconscious Dabura and takes him out, just as Goku intended. His friends are brought back to life and Babidi is annoyed with how quickly these fighters took down his strongest warriors. How is he going to get the energy to activate Buu? His last option is for going for Majin Vegeta. Attacking his mind, Vegeta isn't like he was in canon at this point. He always saw Goku as the enemy, someone to grow past, so Goku being the person to calm him and change his perspective on things wasn't possible. Instead, this was done by Nappa. He could get close to him and try and take him off this path of just working and working. They'd barely even see him, and when they did, he'd be tired and grumpy from all the work that he'd just put in. He had to end all that. He was tired of seeing his friend in such a bad place. Vegeta began to look at things in a different way as well. He didn't realise that the carelessness he showed Nappa the first time they were on Earth would have such a lasting impact on him. That carelessness that he showed at everyone while they've done nothing but care and love for him in return. Upon feeling this temptation, he shuts it all down. Not only that, but he is stronger and finds it much easier to resist. His eyes are closed and a red glowing M starts to appear on his forehead, but it vanishes shortly after. His face looks relatively normal after, like not much even happened. Babidi is in a sticky situation now. Who to go for? He goes for Gohan, but this is to no avail as he finds that there isn't evil in his heart. Finally trying to possess Nappa, there is a tiny bit of progress, but not only does he have no desire for that evil, he is stronger than canon Vegeta. He can resist the mind control attempts relatively easily. This alerts the crew onto what is happening though. Yamu and Spopovich appear, and this time their job is to try their hardest to aggravate these fighters. Babidi needs to scrape every bit of energy from them that he can, and he can't do so with them fighting in such logical, practical ways. He needs to make these Earthlings let loose and show off their power. However, as they try to approach the collection of fighters, Goku holds out his hand and creates a Ki blast to block them from nearing him. Their fight is totally disrupted, and not only that, they're shot back and hurt by their impacts with the ground. This is going to mean serious trouble. These guys can't even touch these people, let alone fight them. What do we do here? Goku asks, slowly lowering his hand. It looks like Babidi's plan isn't going as intended. You've already done an amazing job. Make sure these fighters can't do anything and this should be over soon, Shin explains. It's not long before Babidi has found himself and the Kai swiftly defeat him before he can find a way out and escape. This ends the threat of Buu before he's even activated, but leaves his sealed ball in their possession. They decide to watch over it intently to make sure that he won't be activated from out of nowhere. After this point though, the threat of Buu has already been dealt with. They train like usual up until Beerus makes himself known and arrives on King Kai's planet. He prepares for the fight with Beerus and begins in his base form only to see him not bothered by him in the slightest. He ups things to Super Saiyan 3 and ends up not even being able to make him flinch. This is quite surprising to him as he hadn't had to struggle against anyone in a long time. It's not a hurt to his ego but more a source of excitement for the battle hungry Saiyan. Taking a single attack from Beerus, he sent flying across King Kai's planet and even ends up leaving a massive trail in the ground as he falls back. Lifting back up, this only motivates him to continue the fight. Looking at Beerus, he falls back into his base form but then shouts KAIOKEN times 100. King Kai looks at him as he does this with eyes so wide they look like they'll pop out his eye sockets. He immediately gains a 100 times boost to his power and doesn't even remain in KAIOKEN. Reverting to his base, then returning to Super Saiyan 3, he rushes straight back ahead at Beerus and kicks him in the face. Since he got so strong so quickly, he does catch him off guard with how much quicker he's gotten in this instant. He swings in a punch that lands cleanly as well before acrobatically flipping around to swing in a kick to his head. The kick fires off with great speed, but Beerus can still step out the way of it before tapping Goku lightly in his chest. This time he isn't sent flying, but instead coughs out spit and blood before collapsing to his knees. KAIOKEN already wasn't the best for his body, even if he didn't use it for that long. This only adds to the damage caused. Nevertheless, Beerus wouldn't be interested in him if not for how much stronger he got in that moment. It was like he was a different fighter entirely. He moved with a totally new sense of explosion and power that he hadn't seen in him the moment before. Goku returns to Earth with him where he arrives at Bulma's birthday party. As soon as Beerus begins to threaten to destroy the planet, Goku knows that he must be the one to fight. Now he already feels guilty for just using KAIOKEN to get this much stronger. However, if it's something he has to do to protect his world, he's willing to do so. Those around him can feel how much stronger his ki is and immediately know that he resorted to that KAIOKEN power of his. All the Saiyans now know of that power, the reason why he's gotten so strong. He prepares to get given Super Saiyan God, and it happens. Now, with Beerus giving him God Ki, the fight is on. Now, the initial fight is far more interesting than the canon equivalent. Goku, even when he doesn't use near 100% of his power, can keep Beerus somewhat on his toes. It's not like he could just be sleepy and evade or manage every single one of his attacks. It still takes a certain amount of effort, although extremely minimal. Goku soon uses 100%, hoping that he'll have a chance of beating Beerus, but he still stands absolutely no chance. Goku gets punched in the gut, then Beerus whizzes around to kick him in the side of the face, finishing things off with a Ki blast that sends him flipping and flying away. Goku grinds to a halt after a few seconds of intense nauseating flipping and has concluded that he has to reach further. Now, this form of his doesn't feel like it's a great deal of strain on his body. King Kai made sure to tell him never to use Kaioken in conjunction with his Super Saiyan forms, but the ki control he has in this form feels slightly different. He therefore decides to use Kaioken with this form and finds that it certainly does the job. It's not that much of heavy strain, definitely worse than his base form though. As he deactivates it, he then uses Kaioken times 10 to make himself 20 times stronger in about 10 or so seconds. Beerus remembers when he saw this darkish red aura from before and starts to think about if he'll receive that massive boost again. Goku then uses Kaioken times 5, making the multiplier from Kaioken 100 times just like before. This gives him a 10,000 times boost to his base power level in just this same day. If only the Earthlings could sense God Ki to see how much stronger he's gotten. Goku darts forward with this new speed and once again takes Beerus off guard. Beerus though plays the game more defensively and blocks the far majority of his attacks before getting caught by one straight to his abdomen. Now this hurts quite a bit. Beerus is taken aback by how powerful that hit was. He's been keeping his power level and the suppressions high and certainly wasn't expecting the level of power that he just encountered. This is the same Saiyan that he met earlier this day. Whis now looks more on edge as he watches. Goku could just explode in power out of nowhere and could seriously hurt the God of Destruction. However, he knows Beerus as an arrogant fighter. He would hate to see him step in and stop the fight. From what he's seen though, Beerus isn't going all out. He's fought Beerus a countless number of times over millennia. He knows exactly how he fights and exactly how much effort he's putting in from how he engages with the battle. Therefore, this gives him a sense of reassurance. As the fight continues, Goku tries to make things work and not just abuse that Kaioken power. He can already feel the burning sensation throughout his body and doesn't know if he could use it again and again in that way. He finds that even when he tries to use Kaioken of lower multiples, it only intensifies that looming pain and weakness. Beerus has drawn him to the upper areas of the atmosphere and can see that his fatigue is only growing and growing. To say that he hasn't been entertained would be a complete lie, but Goku doesn't need to know that. You fought hard and well, but this fight has been a bore. As a result, your planet will have to be destroyed, Beerus reveals. Even after all that hard work, Goku's heart sinks. The choice enters his mind yet again. Does he use Kaioken? His body is already burning and the thin air is only making that pain even worse. Weakness is growing on him and he can feel this blackness growing from his peripheral vision. His head is starting to go fuzzy and weird, so this could go left quick. What choice does he have though? Shouting vehemently, his power rises and he begins using Kaioken times 5. He's already reverted to his base form to make the Kaioken more manageable. He finishes off with basic Kaioken to give him a total boost of 10 times. This should be enough now. Returning back to Super Saiyan God, he releases an absolutely massive aura and really changes the dynamics. Beerus' eyes are wide with surprise upon sensing this ki coming from him. This isn't the ki of his inferior. Has he really bridged the gap between them? I won't let you destroy my world, Goku shouts, charging forward to collide with him headfirst in the chest. Beerus coughs out blood and one of his ribs snap in two. Before he can do anything himself, Goku releases a flurry of wild punches and kicks at him, shooting his head left and right with each hit. Blood goes flying out after each hit, but then Goku grabs him to dive down like an asteroid. Both fighters engulf in flames for a time but aren't really affected. We saw Goku fighting in lava in DBS Broly. I'm sure heat like this wouldn't hurt him here either. Flipping forward once in the air, he shoots Beerus down with a powerful throw, shooting him right into a wasteland nearby where the Earthling fighters have been distantly watching. This slam creates a crater as large as a big city. Beerus is left at the center unresponsive. Much to Goku's luck, he's hanging on by a thread, and Whis rushes right in there. Landing by him, he prepares to heal him before freezing up entirely. Dropping his staff, Whis has been struck with intense emotion for the first time in eons. He almost falls down to Beerus to feel his pulse. Nothing at all. That's when he reaches for his staff and rewinds time. This brings everything back to about 30 seconds before the big thing happened. Whis swoops right in there before Goku can do anything and taps him on the neck, knocking him out. The others are surprised by this sudden event and nobody knows what was about to happen. Goku was about to murder the god of destruction and this causes Whis great alarm. Should he just stand by and let Goku carry on as normal? I mean, his job is to protect Beerus and he practically just failed at that. He's just lucky that nobody knows, but in his mind, he knows there's something that must be done. This Saiyan can't just get off scot-free. After this, Whis starts getting a little concerned about how he's going to deal with Goku. For now, he's not a threat to him, he's sure of that. However, if he can just jack up his power level at a moment's notice, what's going to stop him abusing this power to become a very dangerous threat? Now he considers this deeply, and this delays the training of the Saiyans. However, after some deep thought, he realizes that Goku is of good nature, but not only that, he can go and talk to him, tell him what he saw and what it has caused. Goku's a pure-hearted man. He's sure that he will listen to what he has to say and obey his command if he at least knows why he must do so. As Goku is training on his own, he is just practicing his fighting technique, and what is surprising is that he's trying to magpie Beerus' abilities. Whis appears in front of him though and lightly chuckles once he sees what he's doing, using his own techniques, his own tricks. Goku, I will need to talk to you right this instant, Whis states, landing beside him. Talk to me? About what? Goku asks, totally oblivious to what's going on. Just to inform you, my staff possesses the ability to go back in time. You won't know this, but I was forced to use that ability during your fight with Beerus because you didn't hold back and ended up murdering him, Whis states. Upon further explanation, he reveals that every single god would have died, every single one in this universe at least. Their lives are linked, and so the world would have devolved into a spiritual anarchy. Therefore, he knows that something has to change. Goku is quite willing to go through with what he's saying. I mean, it's clear that he doesn't have much stock in what is being ordered of him, and it makes sense. These gods are used to ensure the order of the multiverse. This seems like something that's beyond him, so there's no need for him to question it, and he just follows along. However, Whis still allows him to train with him. Goku, Vegeta and Nappa therefore embark on some training under the gods. Nappa begins learning Ultra Instinct and can immediately tell it's not for him. His body type doesn't even allow for it. When he hears of destruction and how it can be used to erase things, he feels like that can be used in tandem with his body type and fighting style better. Vegeta can see that and starts to think about that for himself, but he sticks to Ultra Instinct for now. He doesn't want to see himself as someone that will struggle with something like that. To him, he should be proficient at everything, or at least have the talent to be really good at anything. After this point in time, Frieza is revived and is training his socks off to try and beat the Saiyans. 4 months pass and he has not just unlocked the golden form but made leaps and bounds in terms of his strength. Arriving on Earth, he faces all the Earthlings and is stopped by the trio of Korn, Goten and Trunks. They all rush ahead toward the first form Frieza and try their best to face him, but even in this suppressed form of his, he can beat the children easily. This requires Goku to arrive to end things. Swiping away an energy beam aimed at Korn, he stares down Frieza. You've come back to cause trouble, Goku realizes, returning his hand to his side. Frieza's ready to fight Goku to get his get back for what happened on Namek. As he talks to Goku with this newfound confidence, the Saiyans behind him can't help but let out laughter from his comments. This starts to really bug Frieza. Who do they think they're laughing at? He isn't some laughing matter. He also isn't the same fighter they defeated on Namek. He's finally tapped into his latent potential. Keep laughing and I'll show you that you should fear, Frieza claims, now in his final form. Are you not going to transform? He asks Goku. No, I won't need to, Goku claims, standing firm against him. Frieza looks infuriated, then fires off toward him to punch him in the chest. Nothing happens. Swiveling around to try and repeatedly kick him in the back, he flips forward to swing down his heel onto his head. However, nothing happens yet again. What has really happened here? Frieza whizzes to face him, a little annoyed at how he's gotten this strong. However, to him, all he has is Super Saiyan, and his golden form is a much better form from his memory. If he uses this, he should end up surpassing Goku even when he uses Super Saiyan. He reveals the next step and the fruits of his training, his golden form. He prepares for battle again and speeds ahead. The others watching from behind have lost track of him. He moves like a complete blur now. It's weird to see this, but they have hopes that Goku will take this attack easily. They see the spars he has with Whis, and they have that same nature where they just can't track what's happening. Goku tanks Frieza's first punch and just tanks every other attack that's thrown. Frieza starts getting quite angry as he continues to throw and throw. He's struggling to believe that this could be reality. After 4 whole months, he hasn't even transformed, he hasn't even moved. No matter what he throws, Goku doesn't even seem to be thrown off balance or anything of that sort. He just takes every single attack. Frieza falls back and begins shooting death beams straight at him. They shoot straight through his clothing but can do nothing to pierce his skin. As for the third that comes his way, he swivels it away using his hand. This is when Frieza comes to a stop. He's trying to hide reality from the front of his mind, but as he continues to fight, it gets harder and harder to do so. The reality of the situation dawns on him. Even his golden form wasn't enough to take down ordinary Goku. How much has he been training? This just makes no sense to him. Now Frieza is an evil person. He stops at nothing to get what he wants and to take out his anger. Goku might be durable, but he knows for a fact those kids behind him aren't. Bringing his arm up, he aims a death beam at Goten and fires it off. However, before it can come anywhere near the kid, Goku almost appears in front of the beam to deflect it up into the sky. Frieza tries to aim death beams at those behind Goku, moving his arm and hand around as fast as possible to do it. However, he just can't hit anyone. Stop this, Frieza. Why do you always have to act this way? Goku asks, bored of his constant assault. Goku has gotten used to fighting people like Whis and even his friends Vegeta and Nappa. Now that he is fighting someone much weaker, the fight doesn't really interest him. Kakarot, let me, Vegeta says, tapping on his chest. Now Vegeta may not speak much about Namek, but there's one thing that he didn't forget. Nappa's dying words were for him to defeat Frieza for him. After training with Whis for so long, he's been given that opportunity. Powering up into Super Saiyan Blue as he walks up to Frieza, he's already so angry and wants to test his power against Frieza, to overpower him and to prove that the Saiyans were superior to Frieza all along. However, Vegeta slips past his first punch, then strikes him in the chest, which is then followed by a sweeping uppercut into his gut that drops him to his knees. He follows up with a hook to his chin that sends him onto his hands and knees, where Vegeta glares down at him with his hands behind his back. Look at yourself, a fallen emperor, unable to get rid of his grudges. I told you that the Saiyans would rise above you. You even destroyed our whole planet because you were scared of that fact, but you couldn't even do that right. The only Saiyans you failed to kill rose to the occasion and overpowered you, surpassed you, Vegeta claims, filled with arrogance and pride. You take back those words, Frieza roars, aiming a point-blank energy blast at him. He isn't as fatigued from his fight with Goku since it didn't last as long as it did in canon. Instead, this means that he can still fight, but since Vegeta is stronger, he lifts his hand to block the blast and it just does nothing. Subsequently, Vegeta holds a hand to his head, creating a blast. Wait, please Vegeta, I apologize for everything I've done. This is exactly what you said on Namek when we left you there, but you never changed. I'm aware of your tactics, Frieza. Beg for mercy like you're weak and show no mercy when you're strong. It's not much longer before Vegeta blasts him to smithereens, ending the arc right there. Following this, the adults resume their training and Nappa has been gifted the golden earring by Beerus. He's made significant progress with the destruction powers and is on his way to unlocking Ultra Ego. After the fight with Goku, Beerus felt the need to get more involved with training and even train himself. How has he let a mortal surpass him? He's not weak. On Goku's first day of getting God Ki, he already rushed straight past him and could further the gap at any moment. He needs to train to keep up with him the best he can. Now that's not to say that Beerus is working anywhere near as hard as the Saiyans. He's lazy and sleepy by nature, and so to the Saiyans it's like he's training extremely lightly. However, for him he's training much harder than he has in many millennia. Following this, the Tournament of Destroyers begins and the Saiyans utterly dominate. Nappa is first up against Botamo and it looks to be a battle of giants. The muscular fighter leaps at him and throws a massive right hand which has enough power to send too much power through Botamo's body. He thought that his thick layer of blubber would tank it, but instead he slides off the ring and ends up getting nauseous. What a start for Universe 6. Next, Frost is up to face him. Now even in his base form he can battle a final form Frost and really make him work. Nappa's power is frightening, and after seeing what happened to Botamo, Frost doesn't want to get wallops like that himself. A hit comes flying at his face and it lands, sending him rolling and tumbling across the arena floor. The punch has not only cracked open his nose, but also left him in a daze. After taking a hit like that, there's only one thing on his mind, his poison. As Nappa throws another punch, Frost lifts his hand to block the hit, but then hits him in the elbow. With this hit, he injects his poison and uses it for a subsequent attack that lands and somehow rocks Nappa. Frost lands back down after his jumping punch and Nappa begins to stumble side by side. The world is swaying around him and he has no idea why. Out of nowhere, Frost dashes forward and double drop kicks him on his chest to send the tower of a man falling. He falls off the ring's edge and the fight is over. This brings shock to those from Universe 7 that watched this happen. How did he get beat like that? They weren't expecting that. Just a few combinations ago, Frost couldn't lay a finger on him, but out of nowhere he got thrown out the ring like that from a single punch. Now, Nappa was in his base form, so there's nothing really to fear for the universe. Worst case scenario, Goku swoops in and takes out any threat that he needs to. However, it just makes them wonder, why has he lost like that? Anyway, Vegeta is the next one up, and he takes Frost a little more seriously. Powering up into Super Saiyan, he speeds off toward him and doesn't hold back. Speeding around him to appear behind him, he knees him in the back and actually lifts him off his feet. Before he can fly off though, Vegeta latches onto his tail and swings him overhead, then downward. Frost crashes into the rock ground beneath and breaks through it from the force behind the swing. He grunts from the pain and struggles to lift his torso up slightly so that his forearms are resting on the ground. You're a cheater. I know that you did something to win that fight before and I don't respect you for that. However, I did expect it, Vegeta says, before pulling his right leg back. It seems like everyone in Frieza's race is the same, mischievous and stopping at nothing to get what they want. Shooting it forward with immense strength, it shoots Frost into the air but off the ring as well. The win is Vegeta's. He saw past that veil of politeness and kindness immediately. Even Frieza's father was evil. Who knows, maybe every other member of his race possesses that dark, sinister nature. The following fighter to face Vegeta is Vegeta. Now the fight with him goes similar, where Vegeta spouts an insult to totally weaken the Metal Man and make him eliminate himself. Next, Vegeta is up to face Cabba. Vegeta still tests him, trying to draw out the latent Saiyan potential and succeeds to activate Cabba's Super Saiyan form. The fight becomes slightly more interesting that way, but Vegeta still has the upper hand and can defeat him, even in his base form. Following this, Vegeta is up to face Hit. He can't tell exactly how strong he is, but from the ki that he can sense and from his general demeanor, he hopes that this fight will be different. He starts off the fight by leaping up to kick him in his chest, however Hit does not move. This fight might be interesting. Vegeta's base form proves to be unable to hurt or even move him around. Stepping back, he decides to turn things up a notch and begins relying on Super Saiyan 3. His hair flows gracefully under his ki and the fight continues. As he races forward, he can see that he is much faster and decides to use his time skip. Stepping to the side of his incoming attack, he can deliver one of his own with complete ease. This shoots Vegeta up into the sky and he slams into the ring's boundary before ricocheting off it and downward. Flipping in the air, he slowly descends and lands again, a little confused as to how he'd been hit like that. Hit didn't seem to move in his direction, it was like he used some form of teleportation. Anyhow, the fight continues and Vegeta can see that his Super Saiyan 3 forms will also be insufficient. Hit is still stronger, faster and can keep him at bay. Hit lands a straight punch onto his crossed arms and Vegeta lets the force land onto the crossover point of his arms. This reduces the overall impact from the strike and makes it hurt just that bit less. He slides across the ring and keeps his arms up for about a second or two before letting them drop down. Now his hair begins to shorten and he is illuminated by a soft but fiery red aura. His God Ki is activated and Super Saiyan God Vegeta is here. Now after receiving a significant power boost, he feels like this might be enough. Leaping straight at Hit with a shout, he falls victim to Hit's time skip. The technique draws the attention of the Saiyans that watch it happen. As Hit uses the time skip again, he races across the arena to adopt a more optimal position against Vegeta. As he steps around though, he can see Goku in the stands. The others around him look practically frozen, but Goku's eyes perfectly track him as he moves. This is the same for the gods around him. Goku then gives a wink to him, surprising Hit. He's fast enough to blink and have Hit perceive it even when he's using time skip. Now that's some scary speed. Hit finishes off the ability and elbows Vegeta in the jaw and still can't take that thought out of his mind. How can a mortal so strong be in the stands? He was watching the fight exactly as the gods were. Vegeta is angered by that cheap shot and is tired of Hit teleporting around with his time skip. Blue sparks of ki flow up his body and Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta appears. Now 50 times stronger, the tides of the battle now turn to his favour. He lands an elbow in response to the elbow that was landed on him, then swings in a hook to his chin that sends him flying to the side. Vegeta is now the physically superior fighter and he takes advantage of this fact. He lands a long, strong side kick to Hit's chin and sends the assassin off his feet. Right after, he shoots out his other foot to land another side kick in quick succession. Hit is now at the ring's edge, and before he can use his time skip again, Vegeta fires his Gallic gun straight at him. The impetus of the blast nearly knocks him off his feet, but he stays vigilant and forces it back as much as he can. However, he soon starts to slide back, no matter how hard he tries to keep pushing forward. The ground's friction just can't keep him from falling back, and the fight is soon over. He flies into the edge of the ring, and the explosion is quite large. Some of the medical officials run over to check if Hit's okay, which he isn't, but what they're happy about is that he's alive. Vegeta is not disqualified and has defeated the final foe Universe 6 was able to offer. Universe 7 are the winners of the Tournament of Destroyers. Upon being helped up, Hit can't help but shoot passing glances at Goku. How strong is he? Who is he? Beerus is pleased with the performance of his fighters and their training continues just like normal. Goku isn't using KAIOKEN right now to boost his power, it's just a cheat to him. If he has to protect his friends, then there's no other option for him, but he won't use it as an easy way out of working for his power. Now in the future timeline, hell has broken loose. Future Trunks, crawling away from a dead Mai, looks in the sky to see Vegeta Black, who looks down at him with a smile of pity. "Oh, look at you, Trunks. You fought so well for your people, for your mortal friends," Vegeta Black says, before before lightly shoving him. What is a light push to him breaks Trunks' arm from slamming into a building. All of you are blind to your imperfections. You weren't able to hear my word, and so I must remove you to bring the world to true peace. I won't let you do it, he exclaims, holding onto his bleeding arm. Solar flare, he shouts out, blinding the Saiyan. It works like a charm. Blasting off with every last bit of energy that he has, he manages to escape in the nick of time and arrives in the present. He kind of just collapses seconds after getting here, and the Saiyans from Beerus' planet arrive shortly after to see what's happening. Upon waking up, Trunks is even more distressed upon seeing Vegeta than he was with seeing Goku in the canon timeline. He leaps up from the bed that Bulma put him on and grabs him by the neck of his shirt. He wrestles him back, roaring with vehemence. I won't let you. Wait, he realizes, letting go of Vegeta's gi. I'm so sorry, he repeats, frightened by what he's just done. Soon after, the Saiyans become aware of what's happened, and they can't believe that he had to go through that. Vegeta is particularly annoyed at how his body has been taken and used for such evil deeds. He wants to defeat this person, to show him the true Vegeta is superior to whatever abomination he's created with that mind-body transfer. The Saiyans all head there together, with Goku acting as pretty much a failsafe. If worst comes to worst, Goku can step in and bring everything to a stop. However, Vegeta is very reluctant to let this happen. In his eyes, the fight is with him and not with Kakarot. He shouldn't be allowed to take this fight from him. Trunks can see that these Saiyans view Goku differently to when he first came to the present timeline. He was viewed as the strongest and the main protector, but now it's like he has this godlike influence where he can control everything that occurs. Vegeta is only fighting here because Goku let him. Goku will let the fight continue, and whenever he wants to step in, he will. Just how strong has he gotten over this time? They all head to the future, and Vegeta is at the forefront of the group. It isn't long before Vegeta Black makes himself known, then the former lifts into flight to arrive at his level. He looks up and down at him a few times before chuckling with disdain. I can feel you're terribly weak compared to I, Vegeta states. Ah, if it isn't the generous benefactor of this body of mine, Vegeta Black tauntingly says, pumping his sane chest. Vegeta's eye twitches as he sees him showing off his own body. Oh, that's the end of all that. He blasts forward and the battle is on. He lands a massive strike to his gut and sends him flying tens and tens of meters. He chases right after him and pings him around, landing massive haymakers at every point he changes his trajectory. Vegeta Black has been reduced to a simple ping pong ball where Vegeta is acting as the racket. Vegeta Black, whenever he tries to throw something back, sees that he can't even hurt Vegeta at all. He can just take every attack that he throws and not be at all affected by it. This even surprises Vegeta a bit. It's been a long while since he's been this weak. He's using his body, but it's clear that he can't do it properly. Even if he took his body a while back, he shouldn't be as weak as he is right now. Taking the body of a Saiyan doesn't make you one, and from what you've shown, Vegeta says before punching him in the face, you can't become anywhere near as strong as one. Vegeta Black stays back for a short while. The feelings of humiliation and anger are bubbling up, brewing. Shouting with anger, his silver aura takes form and switches to that of a pristine gold. He's already achieved the initial Super Saiyan form. Blasting straight back to Vegeta, it's clear that he's gotten much stronger. Vegeta wanted to hold back for this fight, but once he sees how fast he moves, he knows he has to give it his all. Whipping up his arms as fast as he can, the first punch falls straight onto his arms and shoots him back at full speed. He takes a few strikes straight onto his arms and can feel the serious force to them. Vegeta Black sluggishly throws a punch at him, but Vegeta slips out the way and dives down at full speed. In this dive, he aims up his right hand and launches his Big Bang attack. He thought that this sneaky hit would work, but Vegeta Black is strong enough now to swipe the blast away. There's a smile of surprise and pride on his face once he realizes how strong he's gotten to do that though. The blast detonates far from them and leaves Vegeta with only one choice. The golden ki flows over his body and invigorates him. Super Saiyan Vegeta is here. Vegeta Black is confident and believes that he still has the edge. Darting forward to attack him, he punches Vegeta right in his chest only to see that he doesn't move at all, not a single bit. The fight's dynamics continue in that same way, where Vegeta can tank every single one of his attacks and just seem unbothered by his relentless striking. Abruptly, Vegeta grabs one of his incoming fists and twists it, sending Vegeta Black into a very awkward position. Pulling him as hard as he can, he headbutts the false Saiyan and then swivels around to kick him down with immense force. He is shot down like an arrow and slams through several buildings before coming to a stop. There is no movement for a second, but it looks like Vegeta did take the win. He actually did it. He beat Vegeta Black. This is amazing, Future Trunks bursts out with surprise. As he steps forward, Goku holds up one hand and stops him in place. He's not done. The fight isn't over just yet, Goku states. Vegeta Black is a mortal body, and so he isn't utilizing Divine Ki. All of the Z fighters have trained their ki sensing abilities over these numerous years, and they know when a fighter has been knocked down. Their ki vanishes or starts dramatically decreasing, but here they felt nothing like that. In the very next moment, Vegeta Black blasts out from the ground and goes flying up to continue. As they continue, they can see that Vegeta Black is growing stronger and stronger. It's gradual, but it's there. They can feel his power growing, and Vegeta starts to struggle, even in Super Saiyan. Vegeta throws out 2 quick punches, but Vegeta Black is hasty and evades both before elbowing him right in his sternum. This strike sends a force through Vegeta's body and kind of stuns him. He was just winning the fight, and they did get close in power, but this sends a very clear message. He is not the superior any longer. Taking an uppercut right to his chin, he is launched upward and the world turns to a complete blur. He can flip around and gain control quite quickly before diving down to evade whatever else is coming, but as he falls down, he starts to think about the situation. Has Vegeta Black, this false Saiyan, this copycat, actually grown to surpass him? They're using the same form. He knows that Vegeta Black isn't using Super Saiyan 2. There's no electrical ki, and he can just tell by the slight differences in his hair when that form appears. However, he can see this is basic Super Saiyan. Has he really been outclassed? This is infuriating. For somebody to take his body and just grow and grow like this, he has no clue why this is happening, most likely due to the healing powers he has. However, Vegeta has no such healing factor and it's confusing. He assumes it's a byproduct of his mind transfer. Looking up, red ki flows around him. He's going to make this quick. You want to steal my body and prove your power? Alright then, let's see how you deal with this, Vegeta says, staring at Vegeta Black. He stares into his eyes and his golden bright irises turn to a scarlet bloody red as this ki engulfs him. His ki of light switches to that of flames. The calmness within his mind has been washed away by anger and fury. In a flash he's gone and Vegeta Black looks around to try and find him. What's going on? Suddenly he can hear this whooshing from all around him, but he's too quick to be identified and tracked. Vegeta Black sees this strong blur around him and with it is a strong wind, but he can't do anything to lock it down and actually see what's happening. He takes a single kick to his chest and feels his whole chest break down and shatter. It's a strong hit and sends him completely flying back. Vegeta then shoots after him like an arrow, flipping forward to kick him down into a building beneath them. The ground rumbles from the impact and Vegeta Black coughs out blood from the broken ribs in his chest. It's a terrible pain and leaves him in a near unmovable state. He's just lying there with his arms and legs flopped onto the cracked ground beneath. Vegeta gracefully lands beneath him before dropping down to deliver a devastating combination of ground and pound punches. After a sequence of punches, he falls through the ceiling and ends up sending him through another handful of floors. Vegeta Black can do nothing to resist and he just receives worse and worse injuries. Look at you, received a minute of glory to just end up on the floor all the same, Vegeta says tauntingly, looking down at him as he does so. Vegeta Black looks like he wants to give a retort. It's clear those words stung. However, as the air tries to come out, he ends up just coughing out blood. Vegeta just laughs in reaction. His eyes exude nothing but disdain and focused anger. After boosting his ego after his victory, the thoughts of what this timeline has been through start to resurface. This is now a Vegeta that cares for people that have fallen in that way, that have truly suffered. During this time though, Vegeta Black is healing. The wounds are painfully but quietly mending themselves. He can feel the bone fractures healing, but it can't be heard. Vegeta's mind is in a different place anyway. Bringing a kick to his face, Vegeta Black grunts in pain, holding his nose as it begins to bleed. I can't believe you've done all of this. You really deserve death, Vegeta says, before shooting down a punch to his chest. The punch though is caught. Vegeta Black isn't Super Saiyan, yes, but how is he blocking this strike with just that measly form? Vegeta Black's aura then switches to a warm, bright rosé colour. Vegeta Black blasts up and shoots Vegeta into the air, now in Super Saiyan Rosé. He races right after him, landing a single punch that sends his jaw slamming up into his skull. This breaks one of his teeth and launches him right through a cloud. Vegeta Black continues his beatdown with a mindless cackle in the process. Vegeta powers up into Super Saiyan Blue, but it still isn't enough. He ends up being grabbed by the neck and this grab cuts off all air from his system. He can feel his body weakening by the second, and no matter how much he resists, he can feel that he isn't getting out. I told you that us divinities are above you all. Your chatter holds no weight. You speak in claims, in arrogance, in faith, but you all don't really know anything. Your eyes are blinded. You only see what's in your direct view, but can't see what's in your periphery. You can't see what's behind your head, Vegeta Black furthers. He then explains to him how he took his body, how Zamasu became Vegeta Black. He murdered Trunks and Bulma in cold blood, taking his body to don the title of Vegeta Black. Vegeta just screams with his mouth closed as his eyes start to water. This is all he can do. His emotions start to bubble up wildly. It's all getting out of control. However, after, he can feel a tap to his neck that makes his whole body spasm. He lets go of Vegeta and can see the world turning to a blur. He almost passes out in flight for a second, like he's taken a massive knockout punch. However, he snaps back into reality before he falls from the skies and keeps himself in flight. Then he can feel this burning sensation in his neck though, and can feel bleeding in his neck from the attack. All he can feel is a warmth coming from behind him, the warmth of a living body. Goku, you've done enough, Vegeta. I'm going to have to step in now, Goku says. No, stay back there, what are you doing? This fight is mine, Vegeta roars with anger. Goku lifts his hands, flinching from Vegeta's sudden outburst. I need to keep the peace in this timeline, Vegeta. Honestly, this is above both of us, Goku says, totally calm. It's like he doesn't even take Vegeta Black as a threat. He's not taking him seriously at all. As he looks back down to Vegeta Black, his bubbly, goofy attitude fades. The warrior Goku takes form now. He took my family, he killed Bulma, he killed my son, Vegeta says, getting even more furious as he acts out like this. He flies forward and goes straight for Vegeta Black, only to receive an elbow to his neck that knocks him out. As he starts to fall, Goku does the same attack to the aggressor, getting revenge for his knocked out friend. Vegeta Black's neck snaps from this hit, even though it comes from in front of him. It's brutal and they don't really like to see it, but it's brought peace to Trunks' timeline. Nappa takes Vegeta on his shoulder and they prepare to leave. It was a pleasure to be of service, kiddo, Nappa says, walking toward the time machine. They head back and then Trunks returns to his own timeline. Vegeta wakes up shortly after and is like a ticking time bomb as he wakes up. He soon comes around though. He was outclassed and Goku would have let him continue the fight if the mission wasn't to save Trunks' timeline. The battle really was above him. After this point in time, Goku meets Zeno with Beerus and Whis. News spreads of Goku's achievements in surpassing Beerus and now being able to completely thrash him. Zeno is surprised and wants to see some of this power for himself. Once Whis reveals how strong Goku is, the guards of Zeno even drop their stance to look at him before swiftly getting back into position. A mortal that only has God Ki and training for a few years has already reached this level. What a surprise. Whis keeps his powers under wraps for now. If they find out that he can just jump up his strength at will pretty much, that would put an immediate target on Goku's back. Whis is playing with fire by omitting that information, but he believes that Goku shouldn't possibly lose his life for it. I mean, it's not his fault that he got these powers, and up until now, he's used his ability sparingly and discriminatively. Show me how strong you are. Fight Whis here for me, Zeno explains. Whis puts down his staff and creates a floating ring where Goku is here to have a televised spar against his trainer, Whis. Beerus is watching from the side and this starts streaming live on GODTube. For the Kais in Universe 7, it's surprising to see Goku up fighting an actual angel, but it's not all that crazy. To the other universes, they can't even believe it's real. Once they see this thing is live and about to happen, they can't keep themselves together. Champa's eyes are about to burst out his skull when Valos informs him that this stuff is actually happening. Goku crouches down slightly and then disappears. Using instant transmission, he appears behind him and swings a kick to his leg, but Whis uses his staff to elegantly block. The strike falls onto the bar and the force dissipates throughout the staff as well. He then throws himself back as fast as he can to make sure that he isn't caught by the hit. Even though Goku is strong in his base, the difference between him and Whis is still massive. Whis strikes down the staff and Goku catches it. This is even surprising to those that watch, but this isn't the end of it. Whis pushes down further and bends Goku's knees with how hard he pushes down. Pulling out his staff, he sweeps at Goku's legs, lifting him off the ground and then lands a light tap with the end of his staff to his sternum. Come on Goku, where is your control? Whis says, aiming his staff at him. Just because this is a spar doesn't mean you should be holding back so much, Whis explains. Yeah, I guess so, Goku says, before closing his eyes. Upon opening, he reveals their crimson red colour and begins using his God Ki. The first Super Saiyan God in modern history then fires off to continue the battle, leaving a smile on Whis' face. The clash between Whis and Goku is insane. The pressure exuded is something they never would have expected from a mortal. Goku swivels around to swing a kick to Whis' face before stepping back. He spends a few seconds to walk around just analysing how he can win this fight going forward. Whis is stronger, faster and smarter. It doesn't leave him with many options but to go all out. That tells him that he won't be doing much staying in his Super Saiyan God form. Stepping back, he rids himself of his short-lived God form and replaces that with Ultra Instinct Omen. The guards can't help but watch this now. Ultra Instinct, used by a mortal. They just have so many questions as to how this happened. How did he gain this ability after just a few short years of training? The gods across the multiverse are shocked at what's happening here. Goku shoots forward, cracking the ground with the force that he outputs. He uses instant transmission at the very last second to slam his knee into Whis' back, launching him forward. He slides across the arena, then swings around to shoot his staff in his direction. Goku's Ultra Instinct allows him to gracefully flip right over it, leaving mere inches between him and the staff though. As soon as he lands back down again, he springs back off the floor to shoot a front kick at Whis' face. He does manage to block it, but must put a decent amount of effort into doing so. Goku throws 2 swift punches right after, but Whis manages to slip past both with his insane speed. The wind from each punch makes Whis' clothes flow wildly, but he is left unaffected. He then throws a kick of his own, landing straight on Goku's chest and throwing him off his feet. He's left to tumble and slide back from this hit, taken aback by its insane power. Even after so long training so hard, the gap between him and Whis is still there and strong. It'll take a lot for him to close this gap and even take the win. The fight continues on and Goku continues using his strong will and vigour to apply immense pressure onto Whis. However, he is still the stronger, faster and more able warrior. This pressure isn't something new to him. He's fought countless battles more intense than this one. He never loses his head in situations like these. He can continue with utmost focus and intelligence, keeping Goku at bay with the lowest effort needed. Goku shouts, firing off toward Whis with a ki blast in each hand. Thrusting them both forward, Whis just elegantly spins around, using his staff to hit at his legs and knock him right off balance. Before he can fall fully, Whis taps him on his sternum with the end of his staff to shoot him across the whole arena. Goku still launches his 2 ki blasts, but the force behind that hit knocked him right off course. They go flying into the sky, where they're left to fall and slam back into the arena floor, far from Whis. Even if Whis is having the clear upper hand, it's not like Goku isn't making him work. He's giving it his all and everyone watching can see and appreciate that. Whis soon goes on the offensive and it's clear that Goku doesn't really have much to handle this. Whis punches him straight in the face before kicking him in the side of his head. This sends him rolling and rolling away from Whis at high speed. Just as he brings himself to a stop, Whis can tap his staff down into his gut that forces cracks to come out from beneath him. He grunts in pain, thrusting himself back to his feet to try and give himself more control. However, the beatdown carries on and there's nothing that he can do about it. He is immortal anyway. It wasn't like he'd create a miracle out of nowhere, the Grand Prix says to Zeno as they watch. Goku is now on one knee in his base form once again. He is fatigued and heavily worn out. Maybe he just couldn't take that win in the end. However, he has a strong will to carry on and to prove to those watching how strong he can become. Therefore, he stands and applies KAIOKEN times 100 onto his base form. This immediate boost is nothing special. The people watching don't really understand why he's now choosing to revert to using just ordinary ki instead of the much stronger God ki. Their minds shift though once he enters MUI after doing this. The amount of power he has is much higher than the power that he just had. What's just happened? Whis looks almost shocked upon seeing this. Did he really just do that here? He was hoping that Goku wouldn't reveal that power here because that could put him in serious danger. However, the fact that nobody knows what it is just yet could keep him safe. Anyhow, Goku rushes toward him with much greater speed than before. Whis only just dodges his first punch aimed at him, then gets caught with an overhead kick from Goku as he's turned with his back to the floor. This throws him ahead, then Goku appears behind him to land a double axe handle straight to his back. Whis slams straight back into the arena and is left to slide away from the hit. He can use his staff to steady himself, but Goku is right there again to kick him in his side, sliding him across the arena even further. The gods now are at a loss for words. This mortal is actually hitting around Whis, the Whis. Goku flies ahead all the same with his neutral face and continues the fight. He manages to land more attacks than Whis does. This form has given him much greater speed while providing him with much better defense as well. Finally, Goku leaps back and begins charging his ki for the ultimate attack. His ki condenses between his palms to form a blue ball of ki. The ki ball soon grows to fill the gap between his hands and starts outputting massive waves of air and energy. The intense pressure from Goku is enough to make the guards more concerned. Their position changes, now protecting the Omni King from direct fire of this blast. From the platform that the Grand Priest is stood on, he forms a hemispherical shield over the two as they battle to shield the spectators from the force of his attack. Goku roars with vehemence and fires off the blast straight toward Whis. The blast takes up much of the arena, even leading him to place a knee onto it so that he doesn't get thrown back himself. Whis takes the blast head on, and the light given off by this blast would be blinding to any ordinary mortal that would view it. After the blast dims and fades away, Whis is revealed with scorched clothing and a few bruises on his skin along with that. However, the injuries are minor and he's mostly doing okay. He made sure to hold back during that fight to ensure that Goku didn't use that form to grow his power again. Luckily, he can use the excuse that it's just how he uses his full power or stops himself from holding back or something. Since Goku only used the Kaioken to power himself up once, he can make that excuse. Now the gods commend Goku for giving them such a good show to watch and for growing so much that he has reached this level. Goku is such a good character that they aren't even concerned about what he'll do with that power. They know that he's a great person and love him even more for that. Goku is taken back to his own universe with Whis, where the latter tells him to never use that Kaioken form in front of other gods. Goku is confused as to why. It seemed like they liked the fight more when he did so. However, Whis furthers by saying that it's only for now. If he were to use it again, grow even stronger, they'd start to ask questions and feel threatened. Even if he seems like a nice person on the outside, absolutely nobody with power like that is not a danger. Following this, the next arc is the Granola Arc. Now Frieza isn't alive to go and locate Broly himself, however it's instead Sorbet who finds him. He's looking for a fighter to battle for him, to be the new face of the Frieza Empire. He wishes to bring back the glory that Frieza once had under him to realise that massive empire once again. With such a powerful fighter, he can use him to achieve so much. He begins to tell him about the Saiyans and uses manipulation tactics to try and bring Broly and Paragus onto his side. Now Sorbet might be physically weak, but he ran an entire empire when Frieza was gone. He can use his other traits to gain power and influence. This is exactly what he does here. Broly and Paragus arrive on Earth, where Broly is set to fight the Saiyans. Paragus' thoughts about Vegeta are only intensified through Sorbet's manipulation. He claims that King Vegeta's son, Prince Vegeta IV, is as malevolent and self-absorbed as his father. Broly lands in an icy terrain where the Saiyans soon congregate. The power they can feel from within the ship is enough to send everybody there. Goku and Vegeta stand in their stylish coats waiting to see what awaits them. Sorbet reveals himself, but the Saiyan Broly that comes out after him is the person they're more interested in. Now Vegeta begins to fight off as in canon and Broly rushes toward him with a shout, punching him right on his arm. He has no clue as to why he's fighting him with such anger. Vegeta's mind is calmer than ever and this has made him a much better, more skilled fighter. Broly swings down his arms to try and attack him, but Vegeta swivels straight over his incoming attack, leaping up into flight. He creates a bunch of distance between him and Broly before launching down a ki blast. This hits him straight on, melting and evaporating the ice below him to create a massive cloud of water vapour that continues to circle him. Broly coughs from the attack and grunts from the pain, but this only makes him angrier and also works to make him stronger. Leaping straight up, he goes in to attack Vegeta again and is much faster than he just was. However, Vegeta has learned to use Ultra Instinct in his base form. He flows like the water, just like how Whis fights. Even if it is an imperfect form of Ultra Instinct, it's effective here. Repeatedly rolling in the air, this allows him to descend as Broly rises and allows him to just miss a punch aimed at his face before he dives down. Broly flies right down and after him though. The guy seems to have no control, just constantly rushing after him as he fights. However, one thing that Vegeta is noticing is that he's getting stronger. He can see that he's flying faster and faster as time passes and he's starting to feel his attacks a little more by the minute. Soon Vegeta acts too carelessly and receives a right straight onto his jaw. The attack knocks him back a great deal and also leaves him slightly dazed. Before he can think of doing anything else, he receives a kick to his stomach that forces him back. Since he is still in his base form, he can't utilize the full power of Ultra Instinct. His body tried to evade those attacks, but they were just too quick. He was able to move slightly but just couldn't move far and fast enough to fully dodge them. Vegeta lands back on the ground and then leaps back once he sees Broly dive down at full force to try and hit him. He hits the ice with so much force that Vegeta can feel the trembling in his feet. However, as Broly goes in to try and attack him again, he enters Super Saiyan as his punch soars past his face. This gives him a greater portion of Ultra Instinct while making him 50 times stronger on the spot. He grabs Broly's face in the same motion and pulls him off his feet to hurl him into the floor. The ground quakes from this and Vegeta then pounces with some heavy ground and pound punching. Broly can do very little to deal with this, and since he's fighting with little technique, Vegeta is taking advantage of this. He can see he's a raw fighter, which makes it easier for him to find his weaknesses and capitalize on them. After about 20 seconds, he leaps up and off Broly to enter flight. The latter looks quite beat up from the assault from Vegeta, turning around slowly before bouncing back up to his feet. Shouting at the top of his lungs, his eyes start to turn to gold as he lets his hidden power loose. The Ikari state, the Ozaru form in one's base. He flies right up to Vegeta, throwing a wild swing at him with a beast-like shout to accompany it. Now this makes Vegeta more concerned. Broly was fighting like an angry human before, but now he's fighting like a true wild animal. He growls after missing this hit, then opens his mouth to launch a blast from his mouth straight at him. And swat the blast away, but is still a little intrigued. Just what power is he resorting to here? He's never seen anything like it before. It doesn't feel that strong, but it's still different to anything he's ever felt in the past. The fight carries on, and Broly still manages to bridge that gap between him and Vegeta. This forces him further up and into Super Saiyan God. Now, the beatdown is even worse than it was in canon. Broly can do nothing to match Vegeta's God Ki. This starts leaving Sorbet impatient. He wanted to see Broly actually do something here, but if Broly doesn't have Super Saiyan, he knows that he'll make no progress. He heard this form from Frieza when he saw future Trunks use it. Goku never had to use Super Saiyan to defeat him on Namek, so he instead saw the form for the first time through future Trunks using it instead of Goku. He also heard from Frieza that for Super Saiyans to attain that form, they need to go through a certain need or struggle. Maybe what he's about to do will motivate him. Turning around to hold his laser gun to Paragus' back, he fires and kills him right there on his ship. He's left to lifelessly fall, and when Broly sees this, he lets go completely. Entering his Super Saiyan form, he proves to be a much greater challenge for Vegeta. Soon his Super Saiyan God form is no good fighting him, forcing him up into Super Saiyan Blue. It isn't long before Broly bridges that gap as well, and as he does so, he then ascends further and unlocks his full power Super Saiyan form. The terrain is no longer a cool Arctic plain, but a rough, hot area with lava spraying around everywhere. As Broly shoots off toward him, Vegeta starts getting concerned. He's still in Super Saiyan Blue, and once again his Ultra Instinct just isn't cutting it. Just as Broly goes in to attack him, Goku appears in front of him and stops his punch with a finger. Sorry Vegeta, but he's getting out of control. He might destroy the planet if we let him carry on like this, Goku says, before stopping another punch headed his way. Lightly pushing with his index finger, he cracks one of Broly's knuckles and launches him back more than 100 meters. This leaves Vegeta beyond shocked. Kakarot, just what type of person has he become? He truly has ascended past the confines of a mortal. He's indistinguishable from a god. They possess that same power, authority, mentality. Fine, Vegeta says blankly, returning to his base form. Broly flies straight back toward him and roars in a blank and totally wild manner. Swinging his fist toward him, he tries to take him out, but Goku evades his hit and lands a quick tap to his neck to knock him out completely. He's left to crash to the ground, and that pretty much ends things. Goku scares Sorbet off the planet and keeps Broly with him to make sure that his power doesn't grow out of control. Instead of training under Whis, Broly is almost trained solely by Goku. He has that power to keep him contained now and feels that he can connect to him better being a Saiyan and everything. Goku makes him try and tap into that power while keeping him contained. It ends up working eventually, where he can use his Super Saiyan form and maintain control. Once Broly weathers the storm that is his own power, he'll become an amazing warrior, possibly even surpassing Goku. They must remember that Broly made Vegeta use Super Saiyan Blue without even a sliver of God Ki. The potential for him is truly limitless. What follows is the Moro Arc. Beerus goes to retrieve the sealed ball and snatches it from its current point in the wasteland. Bulma made sure to place certain devices in place in case something was to happen in the environment. This creates an immediate alarm and the Saiyans teleport back to Earth to see what's happening. All they see is the ball trapped in a net being carried away by some weird spaceship. Goku goes off after it, flying next to the ship. As he follows after it though, Ki Blast gets shot straight at him. Goku really wonders where those Ki Blasts are coming from, and in the very next moment this ship shoots off into space. Goku can't go off into the harsh vacuum of space on his own, and so he waits for them to arrive on a nearby planet so that he can teleport to them to see what's going on. At least he's hoping they'll go to a planet. He has no clue what they're actually doing. Beerus eventually arrives on a nearby planet that they have control of, where they can safely try and activate Majin Buu. They soon figure out how to do so, and Beerus powers up slightly, providing more than enough energy to activate him. His shell goes breaking apart and the Majin Buu that they need so much is out and free. He beats his chest wildly, and Beerus can see that they're going to need to do some work here to make him work with them. Instead of trying to say anything, they can see that he really can't be talked to. Neutralizing him, they knock him out, then bring him with them so that they can use him to defeat the escaped Moro. Goku appears in their ship and Beerus prepares to blast him. "Why did you guys take Buu?" Goku asks, looking at Beerus. "It's all for good reasons. Somebody that we imprisoned previously has escaped. The only person who has enough power to take him down was absorbed by Buu. We believe his power should still be in there so that we can defeat him," Beerus explains. "Okay, I think I could be of some help. I am pretty strong," Goku says, clenching his fist. "I'm aware actually. The name's Goku, isn't it?" Beerus says. Beerus has been hearing a lot about him. Even if he acts as a mortal, he still has access to things like God Chi. He watched the fight between him and Whis live and so knows that he couldn't beat this Saiyan. He's just a trainee angel, so he's much weaker than Whis. I'm pretty sure he would be stronger than Beerus though, but I'm not entirely sure. We have no idea how strong he exactly is. However, he can see that he is the kind, calm type, so doesn't expect a fight to happen at any point here. Therefore, he believes that he could actually work with him. "You can come along if you wish," Mera states. Goku then says he wants to bring a few people along with him, and Mera obliges. These are Vegeta and Nappa. They all head to Namek, and then Nappa and Vegeta want to take the fight themselves. Goku doesn't really get a chance to fight main foes anymore since he's just so strong. They know that he can just show up out of nowhere and defeat pretty much anyone. That takes away the fun they get from training if they can't even fight other strong people besides just themselves. Vegeta and Nappa stand side by side, with Nappa cracking his knuckles. "Come on Vegeta, let's get this party started," he says, before crouching down slightly. Both fighters fire off toward Moro, who can't do much to stop them. Nappa thrusts in a punch straight to his head and lands the punch head on. After, Vegeta whizzes forward above him and slowly rolls in the air before throwing down his foot for a kick. Moro slams into the rocky ground beneath, and Vegeta shoots down like an arrow to drive both of his knees into his chest. Leaping into the air and flying off, Nappa clenches his right hand. It seems like nothing happens at first, but Nappa turns the rocks around Moro into pure energy. This releases a massive explosion that almost looks like lava in the ground has burst out from the Earth's mantle. It's a tall, bright explosion that shoots Moro up and into the air. He's left to flail around wildly as he struggles to get control over his movements. He just continues flipping and flying up insanely fast, unable to bring himself to a halt. Vegeta tracks the flipping magician with his hand and launches his Big Bang attack straight at him. Just as Moro begins to slow, he gets hit with this blast right on and gets further thrown up into the air. It's clear that Nappa and Vegeta have the advantage here. Moro soon stops, panting and bloodied in the air. These fighters are really starting to annoy him. It's even more infuriating to find out that his body just can't fight as well as it used to. They're strong, and so Moro's going to use their powers against them. Landing back in front of them, he lifts his hands like a king would and sucks away their energy in the process. Energy from the planet also floods into his body, leaving the two Saiyans feeling quite weak. As Moro continues pulling energy from around him, you can see that he can find quite a lot of power coming from Goku. It's like he's this bottomless well of power that he can pull from. Moro's muscles start to puff up slightly from all this energy, and he's starting to look slightly younger as well. Shouting, his silver aura takes form, and he then hurls beams of lava at both warriors. They fire off toward the two Saiyans, who can both leap up to evade them. Vegeta finds it easier with his Ultra Instinct, but Nappa is still fast enough to jump up and dodge. This releases a wave of lava and flames onto the ground beneath him that just continue to get more and more intense. The flames just intensify, releasing this extreme heat from behind them. It isn't much of a bother for them though. He then grabs Nappa by the hand, sucking from his power directly before headbutting him. Nappa already looked fatigued before that hit and ends up stumbling to the ground upon taking it to his face. It wasn't easy to tank it, and he can already feel himself getting more dizzy as time passes. Vegeta sees this happen and is angered. Fueled by the defeat of his comrade, he charges forward and powers up into Super Saiyan, even though he intended to use Super Saiyan God. He doesn't notice, but Goku does. He wonders why he's using such a low tier form in these circumstances, but doesn't question it that much. Vegeta throws a punch to Moro's gut and somewhat hurts him with the attack. He continues with his violent and energetic attack that Moro has to try hard to handle and take. Vegeta lands a sequence of punches that land cleanly on the opponent's face, all delivering significant amounts of damage. Before Moro can even think of reacting, Vegeta lands a front kick to his chest to throw him back. Both fighters come to a stop, and as that assault continued, Vegeta didn't even notice that his body reverted out of Super Saiyan. Moro just has a mischievous smile on his face, and Vegeta looks down to see that he really is in his base form now. How? He didn't want that to happen, so why did it happen? He tries to power back up into what he thought was Super Saiyan God, only to see that he attained Super Saiyan for a second before powering out of it. Once he powers down, one notable thing here is that he is greatly fatigued. It's like he's been fighting for several hours straight. As each second passes by, he can feel his body growing heavier and weaker. Just what is this magician up to? Vegeta falls to a knee as his breathing rate becomes faster and more unsteady. "What did you do?" Vegeta asks, authoritatively, trying to catch his breath back. "It's called Magic Saiyan, a power you cannot beat or overcome," Moro says. Finally, he hits them both in the face to knock them out simultaneously. They slide across the floor, and Moro has soundly defeated them. He lifts his hands, and with that starts lifting rocks adjacent to him using telekinesis. As they all float in the air, he thrusts his arms down, and all of the rocks go flying down toward the fallen duo. Just before any rock hits them though, Goku raises one hand and creates a hemispherical energy shield to cover them. It's small but effective, and the rocks go crashing down onto it and cause no damage to the shield whatsoever. This does a good job of protecting his Saiyan friends from any further damage, and Moro can do nothing more to hurt them. Moro looks up and can see Goku holding out his hand. He did this. In the very next moment, Goku appears in front of him to elbow him in the chest, breaking his ribs. Moro coughs out blood while also falling to his knees. He thought that he'd have the clear advantage after stealing that much energy. He hasn't felt this vigorous and strong in centuries. He even stole so much energy from this man, he thought he was going to burst. I won't let you continue. I can see why you were imprisoned. You're an evil, evil person, Goku says, before waiting for him to make a move. Moro tries to hit him with a beam of lava from behind him, only to see that Goku flips right over it, making him hit himself instead. He throws himself straight off his feet and leaves himself on his bottom, shaking his head to try and take his mind off the pain from that hit. It also leaves him feeling quite humiliated for him to just have hit himself. Goku just looks down at him with eyes of pity. In the very next moment, Goku traps the magician using handcuffs made of ki. After this, it's pretty much over. Taking him in, the magician is left without any more options. Beerus trapped him in that weird substance, and this is the end for him. He takes him in and Beerus nods toward him for his efforts. Thank you so much, Goku. We didn't even need to use Majin Buu, Beerus says with utmost praise. Goku nods before smiling back at him. It's my pleasure, Goku says, before placing his hand toward his fallen friend. Shooting off small slivers of his ki to them both, he can't heal them, but what you can do is replenish their stamina reserves. They awake shortly after and they teleport back to Earth, where they can just use senzu beans to heal and return to their tip-top shape. Following this, Granola is next up to provide a challenge to the Z Fighters. Frieza is dead and has remained dead. However, Sorbet has managed to establish a somewhat powerful empire with the strongest fighters that he could find. This keeps the Heaters subjecting Granola to their terms and orders. He wishes to become the strongest in the universe, but Tarambo states that wish cannot be made as the strongest person in the universe is simply too strong. The life force that he can give won't be enough to realize that wish. He then wishes to become as strong as he possibly can, which places him at the same level that he was at in the canon timeline. Now Vegeta and Nappa are well beyond this point, but it's enough power Granola believes to get the job done, and that is to destroy the Frieza Empire that was used to destroy his race. The Heaters see that Granola will be an issue, and so they get the Saiyans to try and fight him, thinking that he's an evil person. Now they arrive in the area that they fought him in canon, looking around to try and find him. The ki blast fires up toward the crew and hits Goku straight in the back of his neck. Even though this blast hits at pressure point, it does nothing to him. He turns to try and locate its origin, seeing another blast head his way. He just slices it in two before kicking away one aimed at Nappa. Where's that coming from? Nappa asks, hastily looking around to try and find the source as well. Down there, I think. I can't see the guy, but it's coming from there, Goku says, before swiping another blast away. Granola is watching from below and can't believe his eyes. He was hoping that he wouldn't encounter anyone stronger than himself, but he looks up and sees that likely won't be the case. The Saiyan in flight has swiped away some of his fastest, most powerful attacks like they're nothing. This might be harder than he thought it would be. Without fear though, he leaps up and flies straight toward the trio to try and engage in battle. Let me take care of this guy, Nappa says, holding his hand out in front of the fighters behind him. Nappa then dives down, entering Super Saiyan in his flight to try and attack Granola. He lands a kick to his face and hurls him back before punching him in the face in quick succession. After training with Goku for so long and gaining intense Zenkais from their battles, Vegeta and Nappa are in a totally different league. Granola holds his bleeding face with surprise before taking a punch straight to his gut that knocks the wind out of him. Who is this guy anyway? I thought he was going to be a challenge, Nappa says, bummed out. Vegeta grunts with anger from seeing how weak this guy is. He wanted to get a turn in facing him, but now he is totally disinterested. He's not going to go out his way to try and fight someone of that level. Granola begins coughing and finds that blood comes out as he does so. 2 people stronger than him. How is this possible? How did those Heaters find just the right people to beat him? Out of everyone in the universe, it must be the Saiyans that are stronger than him. Really? He just can't believe it. Before he can throw another attack, he receives a powerful knee to his face that throws him back. Granola continues to get manhandled by the bruiser, just unable to find an opening or even time to just rest and recuperate. Nappa holds him by his neck and then sees him vanish into nothing at all. The real Granola makes himself known, rushing forward to shoot an energy blast straight into a pressure point on Nappa's torso. This makes him grunt in pain from the shot and shakes up his entire body. The pain even distributes throughout his torso and toward his spine. He really wonders how he made that attack hurt him so badly. What this does after a while though is just infuriate him. He thought this guy would be an easy hit, an easy win. Powering up into Super Saiyan God, Granola goes in to hit him only to see him not move at all. Try again, he comments coldly, before landing a slap so powerful to his ear that Granola almost loses consciousness. As Nappa goes in to attack him again, Goku stops him. He grabs his hand and this confuses Nappa. What are you doing? He asks him. Look, he doesn't seem like a villain. He hasn't said anything about any wrongdoing, Goku whispers to him. Why are you fighting us? Goku then asks, addressing Granola. I don't need to answer you, Granola asks, before firing off toward him. As Granola tries to attack him, Goku flies toward him and flicks his head with a single finger. This leaves him feeling dizzy and breaks through his skin. I need answers so that we can know if we need to fight you or not. You don't seem evil. I feel like we were lied to, Goku says. Granola grunts and wants to just fight him again, but he waits a few seconds and thinks. All 3 of these guys are likely stronger than him, and so it wouldn't be smart for him to act up. Therefore, he complies even if these are Saiyans that he doesn't want to answer to. I want to destroy the Frieza Empire for what you people did to mine. You Saiyans destroyed my race and took away everyone I ever loved. I'm sorry about that, Granola, I truly am, Goku says. We're not like those Saiyans from before. We've changed. We were told that you were a threat to us, but I knew that wasn't true. I promise you we're not like that. Over our lifetime, we've protected billions of people. I'm sure of it, Goku says, looking back to the 2 Saiyans behind him. You're bluffing. I know how rotten your minds are, Granola shouts. That's not true. I only came here to fight you because I thought that's what I had to do. I thought that was the right thing, but now I know that isn't, and so I won't, Goku furthers. Minato soon shows up, and after just seeing Goku's face, the memories of Bardock flood back into his mind. He's that Saiyan's son. He tells Granola all about how a Saiyan was the reason he's alive today, and he struggles to even wrap his head around that. He's always seen them as the enemy, but here you can see that isn't the case. Once Goku hears about these heaters, he deals with them for Granola. They're on the same side now, and Gas can't even get his wish of trying to become the strongest in the universe. This only makes Goku's job easier of defeating them. Granola is brought to calmness for now, and this brings complete peace to Universe 7. So that will conclude what if Goku's KAIOKEN was permanent. Please tell me something you liked about this video, or something that I should improve on for the next one. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.